What the hell is even going on here?
No, what was that?
What in the hell?
Amazing is what it was.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
So dear Cannoli, unfortunately, he's got AIDS, so he's going to be out
Again? Oh my god.
Yeah. So I'm taking over the channel, and I figure I should have my own intro as a result. That's all.
Wow. Cannoli has to stop trying to earn that money on Saturdays.
Welcome everyone to MMM episode 98. 100's coming up. We have, of course, the usuals, but we've got some awesome guests here. Kata, how are you today?
I was better until I got your invite. Then I had a very terrible day because then I had to rewatch this movie to remember how bad it was.
You're welcome.
Mr.
Goodwin, how are you?
I don't want to hear a damn thing. I had to watch AVP Requiem for Saturday, so hell no.
That's a more enjoyable film than this.
It is. I'll give it that. But we're going to got a hell of a curve at this point. I mean, the good news about Requiem is you can't see it. So this is completing my my Ridley prequel Alien arc because I had to suffer through Prometheus a couple of months ago, and so it's just best to end this thing.
I think you're going to have to do Covenant again, though, at the end of this month.
Oh, yes, I am. Well, I think it might be, Is it either that or like beginning of January?
Something like that, Yep. Sorry, I cut you off, Kata. My bad.
It's okay. I was done.
Oh, okay. Okay. Price, how are you and your finger puppet doing?
We're doing okay.
Don't talk about Professor R2 like that.
No, I understood what you meant.
I'm surprised you didn't follow that up with "I'll do the fingering."
Oh no!
She was hoping to be the puppet.
You're right. Oh my goodness!
I really thought that was where that was going.
Oh no! All right, Whitey, Charlie Sheen, how are you doing tonight?
Better than I deserve. How are you, birthday girl?
I'm good. I've turned redacted years old today.
She's 43.
She had to make her own cake. She's so lonely.
Oh, wow. Hold on. I like cake very much.
I know, it looked awesome. You did such a great job. Go you. I'm so proud of you.
But wait, it's your birthday.
Tone down the sarcasm.
The tears make the batter rise better.
It's your birthday. How old are you in Canadian years? Because I know that's different.
Man, ain't nobody no metric.
It's I'm
That's true.
Close to maid years old, I guess, in Canada years.
You'll be ready for it after this movie.
After this one, yeah. And Gord, how are you doing tonight?
I'm fine. I'm fine. It was torturous, but I got this movie out of the way this morning, and my hands started hurting when I was taking notes. I was like, it was kind of feverish, and after about 20 minutes, I was like, I'm gonna be here for 6 hours if I keep doing this. So I stopped.
Yeah,
I don't know how you guys can say this movie is terrible. I think it's honestly one of Ridley Scott's best.
That's because you like shipping Michael Fassbender with Michael Fassbender.
That's exactly it. I am totally on board with the hashtag gay robot love. Real quick, I'm going to check in with chat. Mr. Bocephus, I can't pregame. I was going to have a glass of wine originally. Then Canelli started dying. So I am stone cold sober this
That's
evening.
when we broke out the good stuff.
Oh, it would be the first time that I've seen you sober.
She ain't saying she's sober entirely. She just drink wine.
Semi sober.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Vexy. Thank you. I appreciate that, Sassy. We got Joshy. Happy birthday, Vex. Thank you, Josh. Boosh. Good to see you in the chat. Niat was supposed to be with us, but he's a busy fella, so he had to unfortunately drop out. But thank you for the 20 ass dollars. Happy birthday, Vex. Get better, Cannoli. And sorry I couldn't make it today. In the words of David, next time, I'll do the fingering. Thank you. Hot. Actually, hold on. I have a clip.
He says it while holding a flute.
Right. I have the perfect clip for that, though, Niat.
How long? 16 inches, fully erect. Varies when it's relaxed.
Let's get
Where would you like me, over here? like you to remove your pants first.
Certainly.
Make it quick.
That's the wires. The wires everywhere.
What is that?
Is that a
outtake?
blooper?
That's a blooper from Prometheus.
That's probably the best part of
It's the best part of
Prometheus.
the movie.
I was about to
Right,
say
that-
that would have made the movie so much better.
Prometheus is a blooper.
If they would have put that in the movie would already have improved at least by a few points.
Right.
Absolutely.
Gemma, welcome in. We got Whitey in here. Gord. Cannoli. Hello, my beautiful people. Happy birthday, Vex. Thank you. The AIDS are slowly receding. I'm very glad to hear that, my friend.
Don't touch him, chat. He's still contagious.
That's
I've
true.
never heard
That's
of
true.
recessive AIDS, but that's all right.
I've
It goes with his
seen your
recessive
card.
genes.
Yeah.
Gooch, good to see you, bro. Thank you for popping in. An actual quote about me.
16 inches in Prometheus. That would put the awe in Elizabeth Shaw.
Thank you so
Alright.
much, Gooch. Thank you. All right, so yes, we're gonna jump right into it. Alien Covenant, everyone. First up, opens up with a truly beautiful shot of Michael Fassbender.
Which is one of two instances where Ridley Scott rips off of his own movie, because like this is straight from Blade Runner.
Is this okay? See, I still have yet to see a Blade Runner movie.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
What?
Don't watch it. They're boring.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
What?
Whoa.
The first
I don't
Blade
know.
Runner is a masterpiece. The second Blade Runner, there's a pretty heavy debate on whether it's good or not.
Okay. All right. So is this part like Blade Runner-esque as well? Like this whole open?
No,
room,
the other. I mean, some of the themes around David are very much like Blade Runner. At the whole what it means to be human thing, which the Prometheus and this make me so happy that he never did another Blade Runner movie, because his answers to that question are crap.
Yeah.
But he actually has a direct quote that contextually fits in right with the first Blade Runner much later in the movie. But this is more just thematically similar.
Okay, so the movie opens up. So all the other Alien films had opened up with the slow, title card coming in, kind of with the space background. But instead, we open with the scene between Wayland Yutani and David.
David.
Sorry, my bad. My brain's not here today. I'm sorry.
Well, he hasn't been named yet, so he can just be
Yeah.
area.
Well, he looked at this statue and was like, "What is your name?" And it's like, "David."
Mhm.
I was like,
He,
"David."
he
play
saw
that
he
song."
saw that tiny statue penis and was like,
He was
"I'm
like,
more-
"Yep,
I am
that's
much more
me."
David."
Right.
It's like, I'm gonna get this robot on the piano and make him into an iPod shelf.
So so Wayland requests him to play something, and he picks Wagner's
Wagner.
Wagner's. Sorry, was it the Entry of the Gods to Valhalla? Right.
Yeah.
And Wayland's just like, oh, it seems this is a bit kind of bland without the orchestra, right? So this is kind of David's first meeting with Wayland. And so they have this kind of this little conversation about how Wayland is trying to find how Wayland created him, first of all, right? So David is kind of like his son. I can't remember the exact
David breaks into AC/DC and said, "Who made who?" He just said, "Yes, Wayland, who made you? Who was your creator?" And then we get some second grader level philosophy that is laughable, and we just want Wayland to shut the hell up. And David picks his name, and then we're out.
Well, and also, one of the funny little details of this that I found so amusing is this idea that David's just going to live forever. And I'm like, wait a minute. If you've created an android that literally, it's like, what are you actually telling us, that this thing will literally never die, that he is made of matter that has no half-life, that will not deteriorate at all? That if you figured that out, then
we find out that he's actually he creates matter from nothing, because where's your hair coming from, David?
Yep.
Oh my
And your
god.
5 o'clock shadow. Yep.
Also, it's like
Goodness
they only
gracious,
have they
so
half-ass
many
the
questions.
aging.
You can create an eternal robot. Holy crap!
What
that
kind of power
raises
source
so
is he
many
running
questions
on?
about.
There's
Come
another
on,
thing here.
Pure bullshit.
Guy Pearce, instead of being old, they made him younger. I mean, the thing is, I don't know if you know, in Prometheus, Guy Pearce actually was supposed to have two roles: parts where he's young, and parts where he's old, like in flashbacks, he was supposed to be young. But then they ended up deleting that or not even filming it at the end, so you only have him old. But here, when they revisit his character, they didn't make him as old as he was in the previous movie. They actually made him much younger. My theory is that he came for almost like a cameo, and he just said, I'm not sitting here for 70 hours with your stupid makeup. And then they're just like, fine, just do whatever you want.
Gotcha. Real quick, Waylon Bucephus for $1.99. Goodwin, could you read this out, please?
Waylon Bucephus for $1.99. Present James Cameron or present Ridley Scott?
Start
For
from the
what?
bottom. Price? No, I guess just for director or writer. Price, who do you think is better?
Good talk.
I mean, I have an answer.
I don't think he's here.
I get both shit.
I know. All right, Whitey.
Good answer, Whitey. I see you and
Okay.
Price have checked out. Go get some smokes and some milk, maybe.
Okay, Gord.
Okay, well, I guess I have to put Ridley Scott as the more recent good movie with The Martian, but they're both terrible.
So neither is your answer.
I mean, no, they're both awful. Like, but yeah, like I said, Ridley has a more recent good movie, but it's almost a decade now. Whereas Cameron's last good movie was like True Lies.
Fair. Okay, good point. Goodwin.
Yeah, I think. I mean, they're both shit because they have both become so large that there is no one telling them no, and they are revealing just how dependent they were on the teams that surrounded them, and when they are off the chain, they tend to shit in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I'd
Kata?
go with. Oh, sorry.
I would have to go. It's so hard because they're both utterly terrible, but at least James Cameron could make something entertaining. Ridley Scott just makes you want to like gouge your eyes out and then like pull your brain out and put it in a blender. So I guess I go James Cameron.
Terminator Dark Fate would like a word with you, sir.
Okay. I guess I'm thinking of Avatar, so I'm like, okay, at least I could watch that. But God, that's such a terrible. All right, James Cameron.
All right, Whitey.
All right, I'm back from getting cigarettes and milk, but I had to go with James Cameron because I feel like he's like just another divorce away from changing how he lives and his opinion on things. So I feel like there's always hope.
All right. Is Price back?
Yeah, I'm
No,
here.
he isn't. Oh, okay. Price. Present day
Yes.
James Cameron or present day Ridley Scott? Who's better?
This is really tough, but I guess I'm gonna go with Ridley Scott.
You sounded unsure, but we'll take it.
No,
Waylon.
because I really am trying to think when I saw a good movie from either of these guys, and I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah, I think The Martian really was the last one. That was 2015.
Maybe Ridley Scott. I mean, Ridley Scott, I guess he at least tries to do different things. I liked American Gangster. I kind of liked The Martian. So here and there, he still managed to do something good. James Cameron, for me, I think the last movie he made, some people say True Lies, but honestly, I think that like after Terminator 2, his career like went down the drain. Now, I know that's weird that I'm saying that because he keeps making like billions of dollars, but I mean creatively his career went down the drain. And I don't mean like cool CGI and stuff. I mean his movies aren't as cool.
No, we agree with you.
Thank you, Waylon, for the super chat. For you, I have this.
Chorizo.
Yes. Live for it.
The slow motion
I love
got
that
me.
so much.
So after the intro where we see a younger Waylon talking to David just after he's born, the title card cuts, and then we are introduced to the colonization vessel Covenant. It's 10 years after the events of Prometheus. And it's just like, crew, colonists, whatever.
I only got to wait 80 years, and I can hop on there and go.
There you go, right? So they're on the way to this planet Origai 6. They still got quite a number of years going. So all of the main crew are in hypersleep, and this is Walter. So he's another version of the android. He's got a weird American accent. And for some reason, he dresses like a black robber as well. I don't know what
his hoodie, like, it's almost like the opening is shaped like it's a cloth Magneto helmet.
Oh, okay. In another life, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, to I guess gather energy to power the ship, they have like these golden sails that pop out.
Lord Jesus, the energy sails.
Yeah, I don't understand this because
But yeah, because it doesn't make sense because it's stupid. So there's a couple of things. One off the bat. One is, why is Mother talking out loud to Walter? He's an android.
Yeah, they can communicate without talking. I was also a bit confused by that.
Yeah. And so again, we have
obviously.
Huh?
So we could hear what's happening.
Exactly,
right?
because the plot needed it to happen, and so we can hear it. Yeah.
But
are we getting to the dumbest part of this film?
I mean, the dumbest part is a hard thing to point out to.
I think the dumbest part starts around the 0-second mark.
Yeah.
And ends around the 2-hour 2:03 mark.
Gotcha.
It's more concentrated in like the first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So while David is deploying the energy sails, we just see him kind of going around checking on the crew in cryosleep. He's checking on the embryos, and some of the embryos die, so he's got to like pick them out and put them in a biohazard container. And
where do those things go when they get bigger? That's what I was kind of wondering.
Well, I imagine it's one of those they just use one of the colonists as a surrogate.
Into the colonists.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why there's so many of them. Yeah. So something Mother's just like David, there's some shit going down basically.
Neutrino burst detected.
Yes. So what is a neutrino burst?
Okay, so neutrino is a near light speed particle it's generally very hard for us to detect. Our detectors are like, old mines that have like a mile of rock above them, and we still have giant water tanks in the hopes that they'll interact with something, and you detect one occasionally. So the stupidity of this is, okay, you detected one, all right, I'll give you that. You have much easier neutrino detectors, but understand the near light speed nature of neutrinos, right? So this thing has zoomed out from its source, which seems to be a sun, and has hit. And then less than 60 seconds later, we get hit by a bunch of particles. Where are you from this sun? I mean, are you sitting on its surface? Why are you not on fire? Because the speed differences are wrong. Where is this sun that you are gathering the energy from? Because they're essentially trying to say these are like huge deployable solar cells or something, but you don't see the light from it. And again, a neutrino hits you, and in less than 60 seconds, you get hit by like a solar flare. Right? Understand, light takes 8 minutes to get from the sun to the Earth, and a solar flare can take a week or better.
Oh.
So how the hell close are you to this sun?
Because like the other
Jay,
thing
it was
too
bad
is,
luck. It was bad luck. Like they said, it was just bad luck.
Yeah.
Just in setting it up, there's really no light source on the outside of the ship, so that also doesn't.
Oh, more interesting. There's an ambient light source in space.
Yeah. So I'm just.
I just realized, like, where is that coming from?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
right.
yeah.
From the neutrino burst, it sounds like a really cool new dog food.
Dang,
New
bro.
neutrino burst.
Really, your stage lights are showing on the ship. How is that working, bro? What's
Exactly.
happening?
So this neutrino burst hits. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So here's another thing. Oh my God. We have one of the people in the sleep chamber. It's caught on fire. Meanwhile, you have somebody trying to open it because fire inside a spaceship is a great idea.
Oh yeah. This
is
dumb.
funny to me, at least, that it's James Franco who's burning to death.
He was the lucky one.
Yeah.
I'm really wishing they would have broke this glass. This movie could have been over so much sooner.
It's so
It's
funny
so
that they
good.
brought him just for that one scene in the video. It must have been like a favor to Ridley Scott or something.
I think he was originally supposed to have like a fuller role, but then there was some other commitment that cut his time down or something. But I remember reading that he was supposed to have a much larger role, and then Billy Crudup came in instead.
Oh,
I could be wrong on that. My memory could
you
be
could
wrong.
be right, but that's a real downsizing of a role. All we got was he's on a mountain going, hey, and then like that's
I
it.
love you. It's-
I love you, darling, and that's the end of him.
Look who doesn't have to be in this movie.
Exactly. His agent read the script, like, oh hell no.
So,
he's-
oh, go
Sorry.
ahead.
I was saying, I bet he sat in the theater watching this and laughing his ass off. But he's not in it.
So that neutrino burst hit the ship, and it crinkled up the foil sails. A and B, it basically caused a power surge. So yeah, one of the pods catches fire, and it's the one that James Franco is in, who's also supposed to be the captain of Covenant. Now, because they couldn't rescue him in time, now Orm, this guy here, played by Billy Crudup, he has now become the commander of the ship, right? So in the meantime, though, the chick that looks like a beagle, whoever his wife or whatever is, she looks like a beagle puppy to me.
No, that's why it's funny. It looks like a beagle with a memberberry haircut. It's like
There you
that
go, yeah.
is meant to look like Ripley.
So this was his wife, James Franco's wife, and you come to learn. Well, first of all, they had all these mementos with them in their space deluxe suite or whatever. And there's just some stupid mementos, like there's a nail on a necklace, which that's not foreshadowing whatsoever. And she's got an iPad with her that's got full battery throughout the several years that they've already been asleep. And in this, it's James Franco circa 2015, where he had that weird pedo stash, and he's just like climbing a mountain in his t-shirt, and apparently she was supposed to be with him. I don't know. This is meant to be one of those like, oh, they had a really strong relationship kind of moments. Doesn't really go anywhere.
You know what the main issue here is? James
Yep.
Franco would never date that woman.
No.
Are you sure? I like she looks young enough, so she's on par with what he likes.
Right,
usually.
but she looks like if she. I'm gonna be careful here. She doesn't look like a young lady. She looks like a young dude.
She looks like she should have been cast for Scavenger's Reign, the live action.
Yes, yes.
Oh, so
She would have been
looks like a
perfect for Scavenger's
Transformer.
Reign, the live
Okay.
action. Still can be.
I don't know.
He's a
I see
Decepticon,
James
I got
Franco
you.
digging the androgyny.
I could
I don't-
too.
I don't know, man. He created a course where he teaches young ladies how to do like sex in movies, and I saw some of those young ladies, and they didn't look like her.
No wonder he burned himself to death.
I'm going to call this character Pat.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, Orm or Pat.
Wait.
No. The alleged girl is Pat because
Pat?
yes,
Yeah,
because you
that's
can't tell what sex it is. Oh, it's Pat. Hey, Pat.
Wait, are you calling him Orm from the Aquaman?
No, that's great.
No, that's his actual
Billy-
stupid
wait,
name.
really?
Storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely forgot.
It's because nobody cares about any of these people. The only thing I'm wondering is who the hell put this guy second in
Guys,
command?
guys, This is
Right.
the brilliance. This is the brilliance of Ridley Scott. So James Franco in 127 hours cut off his arm, but in this movie he's replaced by his Orm.
Oh,
my God.
Oh,
Brilliant.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
God, the
Yeah.
depths.
So we
Damon
get,
Lindelof helped him with that.
This is the
part.
lady. I think you described her as a.
Yeah, she's actually in Penguin. She's the
Yeah, that's her.
madam girlfriend of Penguin.
Gotcha.
British.
This is Orm's wife, Karen or Kareen. Sorry.
Kareen.
I actually think that James Franco would have had more of a chance of dating her.
Yeah.
Agree.
Okay.
Which this movie's plot goes careening sideways.
It does. It does indeed.
So they had a
Good
brief
job.
moment just being like, you're the captain now. Like, these people need you and whatnot. Be strong. And he kind of reveals that the Whaling Corporation didn't originally want him as a captain because of his faith, which
Which they do
Yeah.
nothing with that.
Yeah,
I just want to put out that's him coping. The reason that Wayland didn't want him in charge is because he's a panicking bitch that makes terrible decisions.
That too.
Funny thing. Okay, so a couple of things about this little speech he gives. For one thing,
I
it's
just
genuinely.
noticed the Star of David on this chick. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't notice that before.
Chaim.
Beck's always on the lookout for him.
Yeah.
But so two things. One, him not give like okay. So if you're trying to, console these people who just they lost the captain and some other crew members also, and they're complaining like, hey, we should do something. You have one of two options. You can either give them the time to do it really quickly, which doesn't seem like it would take very long, or you can say, look, we got to get these repairs done. It's vital to our survival. I assure you we will do something immediately after. Doesn't do that. That's really stupid. But also, he has such a bizarre line, and it's read in such a way to it where at first I thought he was quoting somebody, but it's not. It's just from this movie. He says basically when the girl says it was bad luck. He says, I don't believe in luck. Observation, reflection, faith, and determination. In this way, we may navigate the path as it unfolds before us. And I was like, he just says it so matter-of-factly. And I was like, that sounds like a slogan or like this.
Yeah,
It's like a mantra that he's saying to keep kind of himself. Look, I'm doing this as I'm steel man, and this is best I can. This is basically something from whatever the hell stupid religion that he has. Because trust me, only stupid people. If he is the example, only stupid people are in this church. The thing is that he's talking about it's my faith and this and that whatever. But somehow I'm going to deny you service for one of our crew members. Can you pick which character you're going to be, please?
Mm-hmm.
It's so odd.
It's very weird.
So they introduce the characters real briefly, and Billy Crudup is just like, yo, we need to fix this ship because it's in a dire state. Then you can kind of mourn the loss of everyone, right? And so this chick is apparently some sort of like engineer of sorts.
She's third in command.
Yeah. And what's his face? Walter goes to help her, and she's just kind of a blubbering mess. And she's talking about how James Franco, on the new planet that they were going to colonize, he was going to build a log cabin by a lake with her, and they had enough wood in this vessel to build this.
And nails.
Yeah, and nails. And she's like, I'm a woman. I don't know what to do with this now that he's gone, kind of deal. And she's like, what do I do? And Walter's just like, you go and you build a log cabin because you promised him you'd do that. I was
you said you were going to.
Yeah, exactly. That's a robot response, which I appreciated.
He basically said, figure that shit out.
Yeah, get good.
So in the meantime,
get good, build wood.
Orm's at the helm, and secretly all of the crew are doing a little bit of a toast to James Franco's character, right, and the colonists that they lost. And Orm's just kind of being a bit of a salty bitch about it, and his wife reminds him, like, hey, you need to be like chill with these people because like they're not just your crew, these are going to be your neighbors when you settle on Orgai 6 kind of deal.
Yeah,
right?
Again, she's having to remind the religious man that maybe funerary processions are useful for people.
Yep.
Yes.
But nah,
like he
all about that. They're blatantly disregarding me. They're just undermining me. The men hated me. I hated the men. It was like, again, whatever cope you're trying to tell yourself about why Wayland Yutani did not put you in charge. It was not because you're religious. It's because you are an unstable mess.
There you go. Yep. So remember the foil sails got all crumpled during the neutrino burst. So Danny,
so we're going to go out in the ambient light.
Yeah, Tennessee, there we go, that's his nickname, and this unnamed guy that doesn't really matter. They go out there and they start, they just attach some cables. Apparently that's all that needs to be done here to fix this.
I just want to say that Tennessee is a stupid nickname because it's really long and it comes off awkward. Like, if they would have called him Tex, I think that would have been better. The second they're like Tennessee, and there's a few people who are like, yeah, hey, Tennessee. Like, it kind of sounds dumb.
But Price, you don't understand. It's like Dallas.
Yeah. It sounds like a very forced version of a nickname.
It's like
Right,
poetry
that's what
'cause
I'm
it
saying. That
rhymes.
there could have been something. They could have really. They could have chosen a lot of other places that are like are not specifically that word, and it would have worked even if it's like a geographical location. But somehow Tennessee sounds stupid.
You
I
just
would
call
have
him
only
country.
accepted it if his wife was called Chattahoochee.
Oh,
I would have been okay with it then.
her hoochie got chatted.
Hoochie
That
coochie.
definitely happened. Yeah.
Okay, but
So,
also the one thing I thought was okay. So when they're out in space, that's when he picks up a transmission in his helmet, which obscures his vision. By the way, which I was like, that's insane. You would not. It's like you would not do that to an astronaut in space. But the ship does not pick up the signal, and they were like, well, it must have been because he was so far out. And I was like, he was in the ship's field. Why would they not pick that up? And again, why would you obstruct the vision of your astronaut with the signal? Why
yes.
why would your helmet have
apparently-
this ability?
Yeah, this was
It's
part
so
of when I
stupid.
was actually caring about this movie and writing down notes. So you have a giant damn ship, which is a giant antenna. They didn't pick it up, but floating Butterball, who isn't even large enough to be a good ham radio antenna, is able to pick up analog signal. Even though none of these people would be broadcasting with analog anymore. And then it glitches because it's messing with the display and all of that stuff. But again, the other thing was that I was throwing shit about was the fucking ambient lighting, and I was like, I remember a movie that actually understood how light worked in space, and you had real hard shadows, and if there wasn't a sun or some sort of light source, then everything was black. You know what that movie was? Alien, Ridley, you fucking clown. How did you forget how to make a movie?
He didn't really make the movie, I guess. I should probably tell you that right there. Wasn't the main man behind the vision, right?
Or
But
he
yeah,
was,
so
or
then
back then he was writing for his career, and now he doesn't
Maybe.
have to care.
he doesn't have to care.
This
Yeah.
happens.
Now he's
this
having
happens to
therapy.
A lot of these type of directors, when they're young, they got something to prove. Even Lucas, the first Star Wars movie, he had a bunch of people on set kind of looking at him and laughing because they thought he was stupid. You know what I mean? And maybe that made him work harder. I think James Cameron had a situation like that with Aliens, that the British people didn't take him seriously. They thought he was like a stupid American and things like that. So sometimes it's better in those earlier stages of the career that they actually are eager to work.
Well, I think the other thing is that they have to answer to studios, right? Because it's Ridley, you've made commercials. If you're making a movie, we're going to be sitting on your shoulder. James Cameron, you came out of B movies. Battle Beyond the Stars was your one accomplishment prior to this. Then you do Terminator, but guess what? Studio was on your ass for that. The studio was on your ass for Aliens, and so those constraints and people where you actually have to justify things to people who can say no to you. Forces you to come up with good ideas. By this time, Ridley is fat and lazy and just making whatever he wants.
Yep. So, after that whole, Tennessee's helmet picks up that signal, and it turns out that it's a radio signal from this planet that's just a couple weeks away from them. And it turns out that planet is completely habitable. So Orm is like, oh, instead of going on the chartered course that we're set for, that's been mapped out and been tested and whatnot, and we know is safe, I'm going to take a risk because none of us want to go back into cryosleep. We all want to be selfish and take these 20,000 lives with us kind of deal. And Beagleface is just kind of like, I need to protest as now your second in command, like officially, because I don't think this is smart. We shouldn't go after the signal, and we definitely shouldn't think that this is a this like sudden planet that nobody picked up on is habitable, right?
Like the thing that bugged
he-
the crap out of me about this is, okay, based on the information they give, I'm like, okay, I can absolutely understand why you would be curious, especially because you're receiving a signal that is clearly from, a person. You would assume it's from Earth because it's a John Denver song.
Yeah, Gord, could you describe the signal for us, please?
Yeah, it is Country Roads is the signal. They're receiving the signal, which is the song Country Roads by John Denver. It's like, okay, it's clearly a
Swedish
person.
woman is singing it, by the way, on top of that.
Yeah, a Swedish woman is singing it. That's true.
Country road, take me home.
Gosh, that would have been so much better. But What bugged the crap out of me about this is they're going over, it's like, okay, this is the possible risk, this is the possible reward. And I'm like, there's a really obvious question that nobody asked, which I would have figured would have come from her, or at least one of them would confirm it one way or the other, is, okay, if they investigate this place, does that compromise their ability to go to the other place if it doesn't work out? Because that at least would,
did they not
put
mention
some
that?
gravity on
No, they do not.
They never
because
said.
I could have swore they were like, oh, if we go here, then we might not be able to go to the other one.
Nope.
And that's why.
No.
That's why they didn't take the ship that low or something like that, right?
No. That's about being damaged if they try to take the full ship down. But they have a shuttle for that. The argument that they're having is essentially the plan is to go to whatever the hell planet they're going to go to, and it's going to take 7 years. And so there's going to be a lot of cryosleep. Everybody is now a bit twitchy about cryosleep because we just had somebody become barbecue in one. And so and we've just received a John Denver request line from this other planet that no one detected. And by long range scans seems to be even better than the planet that they were headed to. Right. And so the discussion, she's like, no, I mean, we committed to going to this one thing and that's the plan and all that. And he's like, no, I mean, look, we've got people that are nervous and all that stuff. And she's kind of pushing back. Again, there's no good reason for her to push back unless there is a fuel problem. And oh, by the way, there's some physics issues with them just deciding to turn around given how fast they're traveling. But I think it's going to take them like 14 days to get to this other planet.
It was like 3 weeks is what they said.
Yeah.
Like that.
So they're having that discussion or whatever. And then he decides to get shitty and says, we're not freestyle climbing here. I understand that your husband died about 2 hours ago, but let me just go ahead and take a shit on you about climbing. That, I need a plan and this and that, whatever. And I'm like, again, I know why Waylon didn't put you in charge. You should not be in charge of anything.
From a religious man,
skills?
that's kind of wild to be saying, huh?
Right. So they take like an expedition pod. Basically, they leave the actual Covenant ship is out in the atmosphere, and they come through and they find this like landing area. Right, we got some nice fresh water and mountains and whatnot.
We got some issues already. Yeah, so we get on. Ain't nobody got a helmet amongst them.
Oh, that's what bugged me. I'm like, so you're going to an unknown planet. You didn't do the atmosphere thing. And you go in with no helmet. Okay, you did let's say they did the atmosphere test where it's like, okay, this is breathable air. You don't know what else is in that air that could, get it.
Complex life forms are on this planet. In fact, it so well, everybody is taking a gun.
Yeah, it's like,
right.
It's like
so if you have an ecosystem that complex, guess what? Bacteria and viruses are going to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you would take the obvious course of action is you treat this like a quarantine zone. It's like you treat this like you're walking on air. You are fully protected because you don't know what you could breathe in. I thought this the first time I saw it, and I'm like, okay, if I'm an audience member who is not a scientist and can think of that, why would they not think of this? It's so retarded.
And I think this is like in response to the stupidity of Prometheus, where we just walk in and was like, no, the air's fine. I'll just take off my helmet, right? So they look dumb because they actually had the protection. We're going to make these guys dumber. They don't even have it or bring it with them, right? But they do bring guns, which means they are more than aware that this is a complex ecosystem, right? Also, bitches, why can't you send a probe first?
That's a question that I had because so they leave 3 of the crew members, but there's 15, right? So 3 of them stay behind, and all the other 12 decide to go down. And this is just supposed to be an expedition mission. This is not a colonization mission. So I was very confused as to why most of the necessary crew members were on this when it really should have just been all the military guys and maybe one of the ship people.
Also, I think that, when they were talking about it, that it could be a good place for colonization or whatever they said, that's nice. But I would have just kind of taken a look at this planet and said, you know what? Let's go back to those chambers, those cryo chambers. Let's leave this thing. This place doesn't look good. It doesn't It doesn't have this kind of let's hang out and live here vibe, this planet. From the first second you see it.
Agreed.
Also, there's a really funny line where he's like, he brings up, oh, this is wheat. It's like, what are the odds of finding human vegetation this far away from Earth? They're like highly unlikely. And I'm like, you're tracking us. It's like, well, you are tracking a John Denver song.
Yeah.
But also, and I don't know if this is an issue or not. I'm not a botanist. I don't know anything about this stuff. But I'm like, okay, is it any more or less likely to find wheat than it is to find trees?
Right, exactly. I mean, the thing is, I know this is wheat anywhere. No, you do not. You haven't done a genetic scan. And guess what? Evolution comes up with the same solution multiple times because some shit just works. I can't tell you how many times the eye has been invented.
So from where they land, the signal is it's like 8 miles or something, 8 kilometers.
8 kilometers, yeah.
Yeah, so they decide to trek out, and Karine, being the dumb woman that she is just like, oh, we're supposed to be tracking a signal and just, doing an expedition, but I'm going to stay here and do a full ecological workup with one of the military
she's more
guys.
competent than the rest of them.
But it's just it's such a completely unnecessary thing. Why are you wasting the time and the resources when this planet may not be what you're looking for whatsoever, and that's not even the original reason you came here?
So first of all, they made it clear that they're all like, oh, this is a habitable planet. We'd like to go there. We'd also need to check this signal out or whatever. But her job is, she's like, we're colonists. Hell yes, I should be checking shit out. You know what I should be looking for in the water? Things that might be contagious. Now, I might want to put on a mask or something while I'm doing this, but nah, it's fine.
Nope.
Also, oh my God, this shot right here. Mm-hmm. What did they tell you? They tell you the ship is at the top of this mountain. In what direction are those trees broken?
Exactly.
Oh my
Motherfucker, that ship ought to be at the bottom of the valley.
The ship conundrum comes up later on again, but
no, it's right here. Where as soon as they say it, I'm like, I'm sorry, you said what? Why are we going up?
Oh no, there's another issue with the ship that we're going to come to. That's what I mean. Because when we okay. Anyways. So so the Karine and one of the military guys stays behind, and meanwhile they continue tracking the signal. And there's all these broken trees, implying that something had come through there, right? In the meantime, Karine's just like, oh, this mud puddle is a good place to start taking samples, kind of deal. And meanwhile, like the other people, like the side characters no one gives a shit about, are just, sitting on the ship just trying to track them. But there's an ion storm.
Juicy there.
Juicy Smollett.
I really hope we didn't land in MAGA country.
Yeah. Man, I got to get some Subway. No, Juicy, stay on the ship.
So this guy's just kind of like, this dumb bitch is doing science stuff. I'm going to go take a break. And for some reason, he has a pack of cigarettes with him that he decides to take with him to this alien planet where you don't know much about anything that's going on. And no thought to disrupting the ecosystem. I did laugh a little bit when he said, I'm going off to take a leak, and the first thing he does is sit down. I'm like, yeah, I bet Ridley Scott sits when he pees.
Exactly. Yes. Classic sits and pitzer.
So he accidentally knocks some mushroom thing, and these magical spores come out.
Alien spores.
Yeah, they can manifest and move on their own, which is pretty impressive. So they go inside this guy's eye.
No, his ear. And oh, by the way, this is wrong. So because again, unless these motherfuckers can see, and I don't believe they made eyes that small, but they are attracted to animal life in some way. You know, the easiest way to find animal life: look for carbon dioxide.
Yep.
Right. You don't breathe out of your ears, Ridley. It should have gone up his nose or his mouth.
Oh my God!
I hated that they used this venom effect, for some type of material going in. There's there's nothing connecting it all together in some form, and it's just like a horror movie wisp of a demon kind of thing, like a ghost. It looked bad. It looks bad. Okay.
Sentient spore sperm. Oh, there's an egg. Get him.
And that's one clean air.
Right. After being asleep for so many years, for sure. So Kareem's just like, dude, where are you? So he just tosses the cigarette away again. No conception of what
No
that might
care
do
for the
to him.
environment. You know, you don't know
Right.
if that could have just combusted something. You could have just destroyed alien life. You have no idea.
Methane,
Right.
nothing.
And just the rotten luck of going to take a leak, and what do you step on? Alien spore, just
Right.
as David intended.
So in the meantime, the rest of the crew finds the ship that apparently Elizabeth Shaw and David were on from the first film, right? And they're just like, that. What is that? That's and this is kind of like a throwback shot to the alien ship that we see in. Is it Alien or Aliens that you get the big shot of the? It's Alien.
Alien.
Alien's the one you get the
Yeah.
engineer shot. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
one of the engineer ships, the little horseshoe.
Exactly.
The one that they took off and left in Prometheus.
Yeah, the one where the woman ran in a straight line as it was dropping right on her. Yeah.
So there's a hole in it, and they decide to go investigate. And this one Irish dude or whatever is like, "Look at these plants, bro!" He's just really excited about them and starts, tweaking them like nipples or some shit like that.
Which you wouldn't think that he would do, given that you find out not long after this that he's gay.
Wait, what?
The guy. Okay, so you remember the guy who got the face burn? If you listen to what he's like, leaning over him as the aliens about to come out of him, and he calls him my love, and I was like, I was like, Buster interrupts.
Oh.
He's
Of
gay.
course he's fingering things.
Yeah, I mean, he thought he was just cupping the balls. That's what he thought was going
Yeah,
on.
because
I
when you're
didn't
going
even
to
notice that.
repopulate a planet, let's fuck the
Right.
same sex.
I didn't even. Oh, wow. Okay, that's so stupid.
Hey, so you were off your game. You're missing the gay guys on the Star of David already? Woman.
Yeah, right. So
This
meanwhile,
movie's gayer than you thought.
right. This guy is he's starting to get the cold sweats and whatnot because of the ear jism that's festering inside of him now.
This
and
is what
meantime,
cannoli has. Oh no.
yeah. So they're looking in here and they find like all the engineer suits from the first movie, and for some reason Elizabeth Shaw's ID tag is just hanging here, even though she wasn't wearing that ID tag through almost any part of Prometheus. They also find, the helmet there, and for some reason there's a photo of Elizabeth Shaw and her lover. Again, this is something she didn't have on her at the end of Prometheus, so this doesn't.
This
make
is the
sense.
ghost of that guy's stupidity showing up here, because he's the one that takes the helmet off first at Prometheus.
Okay, it still doesn't explain the photo in the
I wish
plastic.
it was a
telegram.
picture of Nickelback. It would have made as much sense.
Look at this photograph of this photograph.
Yeah.
So they find that whole alien console room, and they figure out, oh, this is where Elizabeth Shaw was, and she was sending a message. I just to point out, I had a bit of an issue with this because at the very end of Prometheus, it's made abundantly clear that she just wants to know where they came from, and she's not interested in going home. And then suddenly she's here sending a message about taking me home. She's singing a John
I
Denver.
think the again, I hate having to defend this movie. To steelman this, what this essentially is just a recording of her flying and she's singing to herself. But David decided to trigger it somehow. I don't know. It's sending shit, right? It's just
I don't know.
this
If
is
I was
this is
thinking that was
idiocy all the
David.
way around.
I also
If I
don't
was with
think that
David for that
David.
long, I would have wanted to leave too.
I don't think that they presented David in a way in Prometheus that would lead him to do what he's doing in this movie. I feel like Ridley
Hey.
Scott just sat and said, "Hey, what if I made him evil?"
No, he is in Prometheus.
There's inklings that he's and it's not necessarily evil. It's just kind of like an unabashed curiosity. So he doesn't really think about what the implications are. It's just like, oh, this is happening. I want to know what can happen next, right? That's why he puts like the liquid in the drink and all of that stuff. So I never thought that David was evil. It was just like
No, yes, he evil, but I
thought he was evil.
I still
Yeah.
think I still didn't think he would do this, but maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, he put an alien spore in a dude's scotch. Yeah.
you know
this
what?
dude's
You know
evil.
what? I maybe I'll retract that. He did do that. So
In
Alright.
front of his face, by the way. Okay, right in front of him, just dipped his
Yeah,
nasty
just dipped his
Alright,
fingers like, what's up?
Right, but at the time he was working under the rules of Waylon Jennings or whatever his name is.
Waylon Basipas was in charge the whole time. Waylon, you bastard!
Coming back to Tennessee here,
I think
but didn't he make fun of, like, almost kind of make fun of her for, you know, the fact that she had the eggs and stuff like that inside of her and all that?
But wait, hear me out before we do this. So basically, in that one, he makes that guy. He gives him the drink with the things because that his boss, which is Waylon, is telling him to do all this stuff. But once Waylon is gone, it's not clear that he would be a rotten droid.
Is it rotten? Again, I just think it's curiosity. That's really all it seems, and then it devolves into madness because he kind of, again, this is like one of the things that Ridley tries to explore in this movie by having all of the crew members fuck each other or some shit like that. Is it's like this thing of like humanity and finding kind of the yin to your yang and your purpose and the things that ground you. And David doesn't really have that anymore with Elizabeth gone, with Waylon gone. So it just kind of becomes this weird man, like mad scientist.
No, because I mean, so first of all, David pretty early on begins. He demonstrates that he doesn't give a fuck about the humans, other than he has a duty to Waylon. But it's pretty clear that he has the freedom that Walt doesn't have, in that he can come up with his own ideas and plans and beware what he comes up with. You know, that's kind of set right at the beginning, where Waylon essentially tells David that he can never be like a real boy, and you kind of see, you know, David twitch a bit about that, and then like the crew interactions the whole time, they basically shit on him, and then what does he do? Here, why don't you have a little drink of this? And is already obsessed with like the engineer goo and all that stuff, right? But yeah, I think he's wanting to talk to the engineers because he's thinking, I want to meet the creators of my creators, and then gets it disassembled. But also convinces Elizabeth Shaw that, no, I can help you, just take me with you. And it was like, yeah, that's gonna work out.
It's kind of crappy that they killed Elizabeth Shaw off screen. You know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
follow
very
her
irritating.
as much as Prometheus is crappy. You follow her throughout that whole movie. At the end, she kind of makes it out of there. And here they just kind of kill her off screen. If at least they would have brought her here, for like they brought Guy Pearce and done something that you kind of see maybe how they got here and how he changed. Anything really. I know that it would sort of ruin the twist. I just don't like the fact that they just killed her off screen.
I don't care enough about her when it was. She should have died in the first one.
I don't care enough, but if I'm already watching a sequel to that other crappy movie, at least do the minimum work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Consistency. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
that
both
military.
movies
Oh,
are kind of
sorry.
crappy.
Go ahead.
Go on. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. So yeah, the military guy got sick. Then the other gay guy got sick. So you know, Kareen is rushing back to the ship, and Ferris is here. And this guy, the military guy, is like spitting up blood, and there's stuff coming out of his back. And this chick is like, "Oh, I'm
man.
gonna lock you in here because there's
This
blood
is
all
one of
over
the most
you."
like evil acts of the entire movie.
Right, but she's got blood
She
on
gets
her
blood
too.
spat on her. Doesn't say, "Hey, we need to get out of here." She just locks her in there, just like "F you." It's like, "Oh, I gotta contain this," and I'm just like, "You are evil. What are you?"
Well,
doing?"
so she's right to lock them both in. The problem is she should have locked herself in as well.
Exactly.
But
That's democracy.
the good news is that blood disappears, like right now.
Yep.
But it will
say
magically
that again?
reappear later.
She doesn't. Why doesn't she have the blood on her face?
Oh, don't worry, it'll show up again in like, you know, another 30, 40 seconds.
Really, Scott, you absolute fucking imbecile.
Yep, when she's talking to homegirl again in the window the second time. Oh yeah, she got blood all over her face again.
So in the meantime, like there's a xenomorph that pops out of the sky, and it's a cute little fella over here. And this bitch is just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna swear a lot and hold a knife out, even though I'm literally 100 times larger than you."
Well, she did slip and fall on her ass because of the blood.
Oh yes,
Because
the
of
blood.
course.
I
in
love
the
that
meantime-
both women slip on the blood. It's great.
Right. In the meantime, Ferris is just like, "Oh, I should go and arm myself in this little container, I guess, because now there's an alien, right? In the meantime, like the crew that are returning are all just like hearing this kind of garbled coming through the radio. By the way, they hear Kareen screams, but she's not wearing a radio at all, which I thought was
Yeah, I mean the idea is, I guess, the communications for the ship is relaying it, but also Orman ain't in no hurry.
yeah.
I really wish like everyone had gotten back to the ship and we would have seen like
Oh,
half a
this
dozen of
looks
them
terrible.
slip. I wish half a dozen of them had slipped on that blood.
Look.
Yes, yes. I wish
Oh,
everybody
this-
pratfalled, and that was the end of the movie.
Guys,
would've been great.
look at that beautiful CGI.
It's so
it looks
awful
like
looking.
she has a digital turkey
Yes.
on her face. Okay,
The other
They would
great
have better
thing,
luck.
As most of the movies look good. Most of the movie's effects up to this point have looked pretty good. It's been like the one redeeming quality, and they get to this shot with this creature, and it's like, oh wow, this looks horrid.
yeah, this one. I don't think it's this one. I think it's the one that attacks them in the wheat. That literally does the Mauler attack thing noise, and I just started laughing out loud.
So yeah, she tries to go in and shoot the creature, fails miserably.
She
drops
slips.
the
She
gun.
slips and shoots the ceiling.
Right, drops the gun, leaves, gets her foot stuck in the door while leaving, goes to get the other gun, sees that there's flammable containers in this, and instead of running out of the ship, which the ship door is open this whole time, she starts firing at this thing inside.
By the way, I want let's. This is especially amusing because Orm tells her to seal the ship up until we get back, but also fix the communications, which means she has to be outside the ship messing with it, which means the damn doors are open. And then she's back in it, and the doors are open again. Those doors never, so nobody ever paid attention to that order. And then she shoots the ceiling bravely, and then gets the hell out of the way and gets a boo-boo on her foot. And then our less than a pound alien somehow busts through the safety glass in a containment room. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's not only can bust through it, like she gets it with that gun, and it doesn't hardly do anything to it. I'm like, so these less evolved xenomorphs are more bulletproof than the ones in Aliens?
Oh hell yeah.
Okay. All right.
In the meantime, with the other crew, because one of the gay guys infected, right? Is that an AIDS allegory? Maybe.
No, it was a big giant penis coming out of his throat because it comes back out of his mouth.
Oh yeah, it does. Hold on. Can I get the shot here at all? Oh, there we go. There. Oh, hold on. There's, yeah. This guy's all
Logan.
sad and everything. There we go. Yeah. Walter eyes this and he's like, "Oh, that's interesting, right?" But yeah, so shit's going haywire. These guys up here, because of that ion storm that are above, they're still not getting a full scope of what's going on, and their communication is cut off for now. So Tennessee doesn't even know that his wife blew up a ship, and it's probably a good thing that she doesn't procreate. But
he is going to endanger all of the colonists that they have in cryosleep.
We're gonna get to that
because he heard his wife being worried.
I've never heard her worried before.
I've never heard her scared.
Really? Okay.
So the creatures that popped out of everything, they're kind of like running after. I guess things just go kind of nuts.
Yeah, here's our guy.
Bites off Walter's hand. There we go.
Danny
then,
McBride's casting here is kind of random. I just want to say
It
that.
is.
Go on.
It is. I totally agree with you.
It's
Also,
action scene for the sake of action scene on here.
yeah, which is odd because you don't really see much of like you think the aliens would be more of a forefront, but you barely see them. So
Well, and I think so one of the things is they're walking around the tall grass, and I'm like, I'm waiting for some velociraptors to come jump your ass, or
the long grass.
yeah, and they're basically doing the attempt to they're like lions and they're hunting in the grass and whatever, and then you get attack and they shoot a few times, and yeah, they seem to be bulletproof.
and then this mysterious figure comes out with a flare, which scares off the xenomorphs.
Luke Skywalker comes out of hiding to Save them.
Oh, that does look like a okay. Yeah. And he's just like, follow me. So they decide to follow him. The interesting thing is that this person leads them to like an alien settlement, and they find all these bodies. And my first thought was, so you guys flew in from the atmosphere in a ship. You looked around for a landing area, and absolutely no one noted that like a kilometer away there was this giant city settlement.
Again, I'd like to know how you crashed uphill when all the trees say you landed in this valley.
Right. So this sphere leads them to the city, and there's all these like bodies that are just kind of like burnt or whatever, kind of just in a permanent state. And he's all barefoot and whatnot. And Walter looked at him kind of weird, like he kind of knows, what's up, right? So again, but like a hobbit says, with his little cape and everything.
It's the Jedi way.
Yeah, and we see some statues of the engineers and whatnot. And finally, it's just kind of like, who are you, dude? Who are you? And he reveals himself as
Darth
David.
Sidious. Oh, David Sidious. I'm sorry.
Darth Sidious.
And so David has been here. So David's like, oh, like, where are you from? Like, because like the people are asking, like, is this an infection or something? We need to know, otherwise, because we can't bring this back to a ship. We're a colony ship. And David's like, oh, like he's intrigued by that, right?
Yeah. How many colonists do you have? And they're just like, 2,000.
Right. And he's just like, don't worry, you're not infected. You would definitely know by now, right? But so David's been here for about 10 years on his own. His hair has somehow grown, even though he's a robot. And he's on a 5 o'clock shadow as well.
Not only that, by the way, so if you remember, Walter, he knows about the Prometheus and later reveals he knows about David and how he scared people. So why would he not advise caution around? It's like, hey, you all need to be careful what you tell him. This is what I know. It's like, really? It's like there's nothing in you that could put two and two together. They're like, that.
Well, you got to remember, he has a southern accent, so he's retarded.
Yeah.
He is a bit derpy.
Yeah.
Y'all quit.
Yeah.
Y'all quit.
We didn't even did we even mention the fact that while they were getting attacked, he stood there and did nothing until she got attacked? He was just like, "Oh, this is interesting."
Mm-hmm.
But that's because Dave is a little horny boy.
Mm-hmm. So meanwhile, there's the two military guys are trying to reestablish communication with the ship, right? Again, there's a storm, so that's interfering with things. And David's got a red nose from the cold, which I thought was interesting because he's an android or whatever. But
shouldn't
he's just
white. Shouldn't the blood work to where it should be a white nose?
It's just no. I just like Prometheus.
Wait, you're right.
It's cocaine reindeer.
Why is he
Rudolph the white-nosed reindeer?
It's just Prometheus at least did the extra work of making sure that he was an android no matter what environment they were in. But it's like here they really couldn't give a fuck. They make him look human. He's just kind of autistic. He's not a robot.
If I ever do a video, this is the thumbnail.
Screenshotting right now. Hold on.
How long will it be raining men, David? It could be hours. It could be days, weeks, months.
I just screenshotted it.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, they're just like they keep trying, right? Meanwhile, Tennessee's like freaking out up here, right? He's like, "Oh my god, my wife was scared. We don't have communication. We need to get closer." And Juicy back here with his wife is just like, "Dude, you're the one in command up here. You have to. Your duty is to the colonists. Like, you need to take care of the 20,000 people that are on here." And he's like, "No, my wife." Okay. I just real quick, I want to ask a question to the panel. What do you think was the thinking, if any, behind making every one of the crew members a married couple?
Because you're colonists and you're going to have to set things up.
But I mean, like, why would you awake them all at the same time? Like, why?
Oh, because Mother said to. Because we had neutrino and then solar storm.
Let me rephrase. Sorry. It's why would you? Because when you introduce that element into such a dangerous mission, like going and colonizing another planet, you like people act fucking dumb when they get emotional when something personal happens to them. So wouldn't you want to eliminate human error and human risk and therefore not pair together people that are married?
No, because as soon as you establish a colony, you have a bunch of single people that ain't getting laid, and that is going to cause all kinds
No,
of
he's
problems.
saying why did they wake them both of the pairs up? Like if you're a part of a pair, why would you wake them both up at the same
Well,
time?
and not only that. Okay, so if mother is the one who chose specifically which ones to wake up, it's like, okay, then that means she would have woken up certain essentials. The idea that all of the necessary essentials pair off perfectly is utterly
No.
retarded.
She says specifically, wake the crew. This is the entire crew. Everybody else are colonists.
So that goes
okay.
into the why is the entire crew just married couples?
Yeah,
Because that endangered. You're right, because of the
Because
emotional
again,
element of it.
if you have this crew ain't going back, they are going to
but-
be on that colony. And if you have a bunch of single people and a bunch of married people, shit's going to go sideways.
Yeah, but
Jay-
why have the crew be married couples?
Why
Because-
don't you just freeze the spouses with the other 20,000 colonists instead of just that's what I'm saying, right? It's
Yeah.
why did they all have to be just crew members when you can put one of them in, like, the other one in cryosleep? On top of that, the thing to wake up all of the crew members when not all of the crew members were even necessary.
Oh, I know. That was retarded. That was one of the first
Yeah.
things. I was like, why are you waking up the whole crew?
Right.
Well,
but I'm just like I don't understand the narrative decision. That's
Yeah,
all.
there's no logic to that, because how could you say that the homeboy can't be a captain because of his religion, but then have married couples like be a part of the entire crew and not think there's going to be an emotional thing at play there? That
No, I'm
doesn't make
telling
sense.
you that his religion is not the reason they put it. They did not put him in charge.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about in the narrative for the story that they gave.
No, that's his narrative. If you look at what's actually happening, he should not be in charge.
yeah.
That's the
He's
cynical.
coping.
I'm talking
Oh,
about whatever
screenshotting that as
Ridley's
well.
dumbass wrote.
The problem is Ridley doesn't say the company said that you can't do it because of
Billy
that.
Crudup should be no more in charge than the women, and for the same reason, they're all
Yes,
too
because he's
emotional.
basically a woman with a
Yeah,
little
pretty
extra
much.
dangly bit.
Yeah.
So now that the crew is all
shit.
here and David's just like, oh, there's people now, I'm going to clean up. And somehow he has found scissors, even though all of the engineers lack body hair.
Yeah, but they were big gardeners, and so he got some pruning shears. It was all good.
Okay, all right, sure, we'll go with that. But he starts cutting his. Why is my okay? There. He starts cutting his hair, right? And meanwhile, Walter is kind of investigating this little hut. I have a lot of issues with this because this should have been it should have just been one scene of them discovering David's laboratory or whatever. But instead, they spread it out for the last hour of the film, and it doesn't make sense. This with the amount of time that is supposed to have transpired while they're here, they should have explored this entire thing, found Elizabeth Shaw's body, found the basement. I was just this was just
Yeah,
so
the
annoying.
second you put one of them amongst his findings and his research, that should be the beginning of the end. Like, oh crap, this guy's crazy. Because it's like, why would you not be searching? Yeah, like you said, you would be searching all of this at once. It's like you're not going to discover this in pieces like this.
Not only that, but Walter has a line later that he's asking David, who was it that wrote the thing about Ozymandias? Even though that's
he
like
first-
the entry
first
thing, right?
Byron and yeah, he first
And
says,
he's like, oh, it's Byron, and Walter knows it's Shelley. He should already realize David is malfunctioning.
Mhm.
But we wait and then bring it up later, and I'm like, why didn't you sell that shit like an hour ago?
Right. So here, David is showing Walter, oh, I made these flutes and all of these things. Here, you try. I'll do the
Put it
finger.
in your mouth.
Right. Yeah. So they play a
It's
flute
just
version.
so weird.
I was waiting for him to
So
do, you know how to
gross.
whistle, don't you? You just put your lips together and blow.
They play a version of the theme song from Prometheus, that song, but on a flute, and it's completely pointless moment in the entire film.
It was the Waylon Jennings version.
I think
Just a good old boys.
I can't remember what he's saying here that throws Walter or David off. Does anyone remember this conversation?
Oh, it's talking about that he can't create.
Mhm.
That they put because he's like you have symphonies within you, brother. But they've basically the discussion is that I think this is the one where he says that you made them uncomfortable, and so they put limitations on
the future models.
right
Yes.
to
There
not
we go.
be
Thank you.
right, and one of the things is that you're not allowed to create.
So that upsets David, and Walter goes off. And meanwhile, Jewish girl is here. I don't know. She's just kind of there. They've all built a fire. Again, why has Walter gone off with the other synthetic, and these people aren't, I don't know, looking around their temporary housing area? So Orm just starts having this conversation. He's like, "Oh, you were right. We shouldn't have come here." And he starts being a little beta bitch about things and how like
he's
they've
being
lost
very
people.
Monday morning quarterback about this. Well, it went wrong, so I must have made a bad decision.
Yeah.
Which is an incredibly unintelligent way of looking at just about any choice.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, that puts him ahead of all the the women here. He actually recognized he may have made a bad choice.
So in the meantime, David's like, "Let me show you something, Walter," and he takes Walter outside, right? And here is where we get a flashback of what happened when Elizabeth and David arrived at the alien planet. So for some reason, all of the engineers came out to greet them as their ship starts docking, and they're just like, "Oh, what's going on?" And so what David decides to do is all of the black goo that was on the ships, he decides to release it onto all of the engineers, and it kills them.
Not all of it.
I guess a lot of it, we'll say.
Yeah, most of it.
But the problem I have with this is that so we saw him land. He and Elizabeth Shaw clearly crashed their ship in the forest. Yet somehow he has found another ship to pilot over here to drop all of the goo.
No, so the idea is essentially that he docked and he drops the bomb on him, and then who the hell knows why he reverse crashes the ship. And
are you trying to explain it?
Dude, that's your best explanation, because they fly in and dock and drop the bomb on them, right? And it's and then apparently somehow reverse crashed the mountain, and that's where the ship is.
Reverse crashed. Yeah,
because they're uphill, even though all the trees show that they crashed downhill.
Pretty congested civilization too, by the way, that they all would convene in one spot.
Man, it was it was the state fair or something. Everybody was there. Everybody was there.
Why were they all excited to see? Because that's the other thing. So in Prometheus, it was kind of explained that all of those ships, at least of that kind, were meant to hold a biological weapon. So why would they all be excited to see a ship that's holding a biological weapon that could kill them?
Because Ridley forgot what the hell happened, and nobody wanted to do Damon Lindelof shit again.
Okay,
I thought they was done with the mission or something, and they're like, "Oh my god, they're back!
Yay, the returning hero! Oh shit!"
So even he didn't feel like watching Prometheus again.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Well, see, it was above the intellect of the American audience, so he had to modify this one.
He basically kind of does. He does like kind of the opposite of what George R. R. Martin does. George R. R. Martin sees the confused mess of his work, and he just doesn't do anything. Ridley Scott sees the confused mess of his work and is just like, we'll just push right through it.
Yeah.
No, it's genius. They just don't appreciate me.
The audience is too stupid for my stupid movie.
Yep.
You all can't understand my amazing brain.
You can't understand my genius, yes. So as we get that flashback, David shows that, I buried Elizabeth outside with the living things because it felt right to bury her here and whatnot. And he recites...
Hold on. Can you go back? How the fuck did he inscribe a tombstone?
Man, he had 10 years to learn stone cutting. Robotism. It's all good.
Robotisms. Yeah,
I mean, there's plenty of metal around. For example, a big goddamn giant ship that had crashed uphill.
A pair of scissors. He can make a pair of scissors. He can,
engrave a tombstone, I guess. Yeah.
His penmanship is spectacular.
Yeah,
Right.
and you can't believe how good he is at dodgeball.
So in explaining what happened, so he tells Walter that, oh, Elizabeth died in the crash, so I buried her here. And he's just like, oh, but I loved her. And Walter's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You can't love people. That's not part of your programming kind of deal. And he's like, oh, well, you like Beagleface, like what would you call that? And Walter's just like, I call that duty. Like that's all it is. In the meantime,
I'd like to point out that duty is actually a form of love.
Mm-hmm.
it is. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
But Ridley,
He's
being a second grader when it comes to philosophy, doesn't understand this shit.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
he's
He's
basically
so
calling him
smart.
out for being gay. He's like, dude, don't be gay. You can't love people.
Speaking
Yeah.
of being gay, they killed the only attractive female in the movie right here.
This is the attractive female of the movie, really?
With
Man, have you
no
seen
name.
the options on display?
The
I mean-
black woman was the hottest woman. Let's
Yeah,
be
but
honest.
she already burned up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
true,
she
but
doesn't
she-
count.
Extra crispy.
Hey, she burned up. She got even blacker. It's all
That's right. That's right. Darker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
So this chick apparently got injured at some point and she's got bandages. I don't know. That's just a detail that's never really shared. And she decides, oh, we don't know what's on this planet, but here's some water in a bunch of vines in an old, pot or whatever. I'm going to clean my bleeding wounds.
I want to point
So-
out, David said that a virus wiped out all animal life on this planet.
That shows how stupid they are. Y'all were scared to get into cryopods because of danger, but you just got on a planet that you know is dangerous, but you're gonna go,
And
"Well, I'm gonna dip my hand in this water."
She literally watched a guy get a few spores up his nose and had an alien burst out of his mouth. It's like, no, just throw caution to the wind. Wash it off. It's fine.
And at this point, no one knows the cause of it either, right? They're still all in
No,
the
they know
mind
it's a
of
virus.
No, but I mean, like, they don't know where it originated from, right? They don't know what caused it. They're
Oh
all-
no, I
they
think
don't-
David already didn't he already explain that it was a, or is that when he's talking to
Yeah,
To
the
Walter.
rest
To
of
No,
them
Walter.
don't
these
know
are,
yet.
well, here, these are
he
two
tells
separate
them
things.
it's a virus.
Well, these are
Yeah.
two separate things to worry about. Is for one, he's told them that a virus wiped everyone out, and the secondary thing is that we have no idea why a guy had an alien burst out of him. So it's like there's a few things to worry about on this planet.
I'm sure it wasn't the water. We all good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Right,
stick my
so-
hand in the water.
She senses that something is off, and it turns out this sexy alien is behind her, and it just kind of chomps her neck, right?
Blame the
in-
white alien. My gosh.
It's
Also, that
supremacy,
was
man.
the-
You got to keep it pure, right?
It
To be
was
honest,
the
he was-
worst.
He was doing humanity a favor, given she was wearing.
Yeah, he realized these were genetically inferior and they need to
Exactly.
go.
I like
Very-
how cleanly the alien bites her head off too. Very cleanly.
Well, the animation for the blood and bleed out and everything, that's probably the worst CGI in the whole movie right back there. It was
Pretty
terrible.
awful.
Yeah, it is bad. Also, why we got these fancy screens on ships that are like 100 years older than the Nostromo?
Doesn't matter, bro. Don't
Oh yeah,
worry.
yeah,
Don't
Yeah,
worry
you're
about it.
asking the real questions.
It's not gay
Like,
if you
why
say
do they
no
have a
Nostromo.
knife at it?
yeah. Nostromo, bro.
So in the meantime, Tennessee's like freaking out, and he's trying to figure out the best way to lower the Covenant ship closer to Earth. And his people are just like, "Bro, stop! What are you doing? Right? You're gonna." So they finally just agree. Okay, we'll whatever happens, kind of deal, right? So in the meantime, Orm just starts, wandering off on his own, and David is no longer with Walter. I don't know why they split up all of a sudden. But David finds the alien creature, and he starts kind of like, mind fucking it, sort of. Did
He's
he
doing
get
what
in that
Chris
movie?
Pratt does to the Velociraptors in Jurassic
Yep.
World.
There you go. Yeah.
Or Viggo Mortensen in Hidalgo. He just blows into the horse's nostrils, and then
There you go.
And for those of us who've actually been around horses, that's a load of shit.
So instead, Orm sneaks up and just shoots him, and Orm's just like, "Listen, you need to tell me what's going on," or and he says, "quote I'm going to screw up your seriously perfect composure." I don't understand why.
Got
that
him.
was the line.
Got him.
I
told
don't-
him.
I wouldn't have minded if like one of the vampires said that to Bella or something at some point.
Yeah.
But this movie, it doesn't really work.
Yeah, this
No,
boy,
it
it's a
doesn't.
sick burn. Let's get it.
Not gay enough.
In the meantime, they establish connection, and the second in command is just like, yeah, Tennessee, bring the ship down. We really need your help. Fuck the colonists.
Oh yeah,
we're-
but
No,
real quick. Is it not a little bit weird that these crew members in this small confined space don't have any form of communication with one another? They don't have anything to talk with one another, or like maybe Billy Crudup could say, "Hey, we've got something going down. David's acting weird. He's got the alien here." They don't have any devices they can communicate with. each
Oh,
other.
they do. They just don't use them.
No, I feel like Ridley has become really dumb when he made this movie. It's like I'm confident that he used to think more about the details. I don't know why everything is so stupid here. Just every single thing that any character does is dumb, including what you just said. The fact that they don't have masks on, whatever the like, what are they
No
called?
masks, no short.
Yeah, some
range
sor of air
communication,
filter,
nothing.
some
Right,
sort
yeah,
of
yeah.
environmental
Yeah.
suits.
Like
Yeah.
everything that his characters do doesn't make any sense, even within the logic of his own universe and movies or anything.
Yeah, and
don't even
I want to
bring-
be clear. They have radios. They use
do,
them
they
later.
don't use them. Yeah,
They do use them later. They don't use them when the plot needs them to not use them.
and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a very dumbed down movie. It feels like he wanted certain things to happen in the movie and was willing to compromise a lot of storytelling for it to happen.
I mean,
Well, Price, they ran out of tin cans and strings. So
yeah, I mean, you've seen Prometheus, right?
Right,
That is a monument to stupidity.
The fact that they would even do a sequel, I mean, he should have learned the lessons of Prometheus and just done a completely different movie. The fact that he even brought this Fassbender character and the double Fassbender and sort of trying to continue Prometheus, that's like when you double down, at the casino, you know what I mean? But not in a good way.
Yeah,
doubling down,
this
like
is
when you're
pride.
stupid.
This
Yeah.
is pride fucking with him, right? And I
Throwing
believe the plural of
money after
Fassbender is
bad or whatever.
Fassbendi.
Yeah, like he won't admit that he did something bad. He wants to try to do more of it.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry, go on.
No, you're good. You're good. So yeah, she establishes connection with Tennessee. Says she needs out. Also tells him that his wife, it basically offed herself by being a fucking idiot. And in the meantime, Walter is kind of showing all of his experiments off to Orm. And he's like, I've become a bit of an amateur scientist in my time here. And I've been engineering these creatures. He's essentially just giving his whole plan out.
He's taking him on a tour of a room that is just full of red flags. And
Yeah, here's
Yeah.
my two-headed calf.
He's not
Uh,
picking up on any of them.
When did he cut his hair?
That was earlier. It was when he
While
got out
ago.
the scissors.
Yeah.
I see. I don't know. I guess I was just so annoyed watching this. I kept thinking to myself, I must have looked away for a second when he cut it. But the second he cut it, I already knew that there was going to be a switcheroo. Because why
Yep.
would he cut it?
Yeah, exactly.
right.
I almost think that they should have never even had him have that hair. They should have made them both look identical.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
From
Well,
the
it's
get-go.
stupid that he grows hair in the first place. Where's this
Yeah,
matter
why
coming
did it
from?
grow?
Right.
Well, I mean, if he could live forever, I guess he could grow hair. I guess that's the only.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
like-
again, where's this matter coming from?
Yeah. He's a machine, so the machine would.
He
usually
doesn't
stay
eat.
the same. Yeah. There's no proteins to synthesize any hair in that body.
If you guys
He's
think
just
about
bigger,
it, if he can
bro.
grow,
He's
if he
better.
can grow hair, then he can coom.
That's true. Yeah. The
How do you
wires,
think he
man.
made a lot of these things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact that no, bro, it's fine. And by the way, he shows a bisected egg with a face hugger in it, and Orm looks at it, and then just comes in here and he's like, "Oh, I'll just pet it, and it'll be fine."
I
What
like
is
it.
going on?
Well, David
Before-
assured him it was safe. So
Oh,
it
it's
makes sense.
perfectly safe.
Before he went
Tamagotchi
down
pet.
before
Fine.
he went down into this basement, Orm says to David, "I saw the devil when I was a child," and yet he's fault again. By his logic, all of this stuff should be the work of the devil, but he chooses to ignore it, or the plot chooses to ignore it, so things can happen.
Another thing, they would never make this idiot second in command. Never.
No.
Never would they make this guy. Not even second, not 10th in command. If he's really this dumb the way we see in this movie.
He is the janitor of the Covenant.
And even then, he'll screw it up somehow. I mean, that's why I was saying when the whole idea about it was because of his religion. No, it's not. It's because he's an idiot.
They would never let a person of faith mop these floors.
Yeah.
So a facehugger pops out and attaches itself to Orm, right? In the meantime, they find the dead Jewish girl by the water, right? And finally, like Beagleface is just like, yo, where is everyone? Because suddenly, like there were like 7 of us here, and now there's only 3. There seems to have been no communication between anyone, even though they still know that there's some weird things that killed a bunch of them, 2 hours prior, still in the wild. So she's just like, oh, since Orm's gone, we're all going to split up, okay? And we'll meet back here in 15 minutes because Tennessee's going to be here to rescue us. Real quick, Waylon Bucephus. Kata, can you read this?
Is Covenant Valley Ridley Scott? What?
Like
I
the
don't
low
understand.
point.
Opposite of peak.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Funny.
I think there's an argument that it is.
This is
Okay.
probably this is
No.
probably his worst.
Like I would
this one
argue
is worst films.
Prometheus is a more broken movie than this
Yes.
one, and yet I still think Prometheus has qualities that make it a little bit more watchable at the same time.
Look,
So,
Prometheus is dumb.
I think it's
but-
debatable. I think it's debatable which one is worse.
Well, Prometheus is dumb, but this is brain-numbingly dumb. Whereas, like, every decision, everything that they say in this movie, nothing makes sense. There's
So that's actually
nothing.
that would actually be why I would say that this is a better movie than Prometheus. Prometheus has people that start acting smart and then do especially stupid things to make plot happen. And then it just becomes and then because it's Damon Lindelof and he can't write anything beyond the level of toddler. This thing there are interesting bits in it. But the people are stupid right off the bat. So it's like, okay, apparently these are all the special needs colonists that are going off. People are tired of their shit and just shipping them off. And these are the special needs crew, and they are consistently stupid.
If
You
you
know what?
allow,
To be
if you
fair-
allow a life analogy, I have had the same an ingrown toenail on the same toe, 2 times having to be cut and pulled out. Both times it sucked horribly. Just one of the times slightly less. That's these 2 movies. I just don't know which is which.
Hold on. To Goodwin's point about these being the retarded colonists, so to speak. This is in the same universe as the Predator franchise, and remember, in The Predator, autism was the way of the future.
Well, these aren't autists.
Just saying.
I think you're all reading this wrong. I think he's actually asking, is Covenant like Valley Ridley Scott? Like Valley?
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Okay,
Um,
would you rather watch this or Gladiator 2?
This.
I haven't seen Gladiator 2, and I don't want to, and I just finished this, so I feel like I don't need to answer this question.
Yeah, I think I would rather watch. Well, I mean, I'd rather eat again, but I would prefer this over Gladiator 2 because as long as I don't see Gladiator 2, it hasn't shit on Gladiator. Prometheus has already shit all over Alien. This one is just going, so this is where the latrine is? Okay, I'll drop trailer.
As somebody that's seen all movies, including Gladiator 2, I can say that as much as I thought Gladiator 2 was dumb, I probably would prefer watching that over this. Gladiator was just sort of a standalone movie that really didn't need a sequel, and it's a sequel that you could tell is unnecessary and it's dumb. But somehow I feel like Prometheus and Covenant are a lot more offensive. Maybe because I also rate Alien as a much better movie than Gladiator, even the first one. Gladiator is a good movie, but Alien is sort of a classic movie.
No.
Real quick, I'm just gonna play a clip for Waylon Bucephus. I guess I'm trying to find one that we'll do this one.
A pencil. I know, I've heard the story, sir.
Fucking pencil? Who the fuck can do that?
Yeah, so they start lowering the ship closer to go and, rescue everyone. In the meantime, Orm's still in the creepy basement, and he's waking up, and David's just kind of watching over him, like a weirdo, right? I guess he's kind of knows like the timing with this, because this is kind of the next step in his experimentation since he killed all the life on this planet. And here we have a chest bursting scene.
He knows the timing so well that he times a one-liner the second before it bursts out. He says, "What do you believe in?" And he says, "Creation." Boom, and it's just like, okay.
So this
apparently
little
that was the safety word.
Yeah, this little xenomorph pops out, and they have this weird moment where they just raise their hands at each other.
Yeah, and then the little xenomorph puts on a top hat and dances, and hello, my baby, hello, my honey, hello, my ragtime gal.
Don't give this movie credit for a good scene.
I was a little bit confused by this decision as well, because again, this is supposed to be an inferior alien, but the inferior one is coming out as a full alien, whereas by Alien and the events of Aliens, it is a little like pod that comes out that then forms into a xenomorph. So
yeah, it has to shed and all that stuff or whatever. Yeah, again, this is Ridley shitting on everything that is alien.
And then in the meantime, Walter is just looking around. Again, I don't understand why all of these people are just wandering around and not communicating with each other. But we do finally see what happened to Elizabeth Shaw. And it looks like David was doing some experiments on her. Yes.
This part really made me upset. It goes back to the part where it's like, okay, yeah, the previous movie wasn't really that good. But this is still a character that you like had us go through an entire movie with. You killed them off screen, and then on top of that, you dissect them and burst them open like this. Like
he's
the way that they did her was messed up.
He just misunderstood. Also, Elizabeth Shaw was not a character.
Well, yeah. But I mean, that's like it's.
I mean, I've gone through like weeks with hemorrhoids. I don't miss them when they're gone. I don't have a problem with them leaving.
Dang. Again, where are all these photos of Elizabeth Shaw coming from? I'm genuinely curious.
David has a Kodak setting in his Android.
They ejected it from the ship that they flew into the original engineer ship.
Oh,
that's what he ejaculates. He ejaculates Polaroids.
Photos.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Bossy.
So Walter again finds David. Again, this doesn't make any sense why all of these people are disappearing and appearing with each other.
Look, the camera isn't on them. They can just stop. And then David could go somewhere else, and then they will start again. They're like NPCs in a bad Ubisoft game or something.
Like, bro, there's 3 people searching for all of them too while this is all happening.
Yeah, but they're off screen, so they're not making any progress.
So yeah, David and Walter hook up again, I guess. And this is where we kind of learn that, like, in his loneliness, I guess David has discovered, like, sex or something.
Well, he's also this is when Walter tells him that because he asks him the thing again about Ozymandias, and David says Byron, and Walter corrects him and says it's Shelley, and if one note is wrong, the symphony is ruined.
Yes.
Which is telling him you have an error. That means all of your thinking is sus.
Yes. And again, Walter has not told anyone that. He's just kept it to himself. But while David kisses him, he like judo chops him in the neck, and it kind of like it stuns the Walter bot, right?
No, he slices him.
Yeah, but he rips out something right from his neck. That's where that cum stain is.
No, I thought he stabbed him. Like, if you remember, whatever I can't remember what the new alien's called for some reason, but that's where they have their little Romulus. Where they have their little chip. I think that's where he stabbed him.
Okay. Well, he pulled out something, right? And I guess the assumption was, that would permanently put the robot in like a state of paralysis. But as we learned,
I really just think he stabbed him in it.
He stabs him and thinks that he's deactivated him and he's done.
He pulls something out. You see him pull.
No, you see him flick the white off the blade.
Yeah, I think that's just a line of like blood and gooey.
I mean, you can watch it live. It's a stab and then he flicks it out.
Yeah.
Hold on. Where is it?
Look at a rich.
No, it's not here.
It's where
Okay.
it's right after they kiss. So,
Right after they kiss. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, right here.
God.
Okay, so they kiss, and then hold on. Sorry, I just want to.
They kiss for bait.
Do. Aha! See, it's a knife,
Yeah.
and there it is, and he goes.
Yeah.
That face that he made was it was so
That was his O face.
he said,
Oh.
Alternate thumbnail image.
You were the first one.
Yeah.
David walked up to Walter.
Walter loves being penetrated.
I usually don't do this on the first date.
See, it's my O face.
Screenshotting.
Yeah. See, if you look in his left hand, that's a blade.
That should be the thumbnail of the movie.
Yes.
Like on the poster.
That's actually actual audience reaction.
Alien Covenant, and then you should put this face next to it.
Yes.
I'm gonna change the thumbnail. There you go.
Alien Covenant, not Alien Covenant.
Yeah. That was the audience's reaction when they saw this movie. Ah!
So yeah, the thing that he stabbed, it heals up. Again, there's been modifications. In the meantime, the two gay military dudes are investigating the lab, and then
It's just the one. The other gay one was dead.
Oh, okay. So then the gay and soon to be gay are investigating that. And then Beagleface finds this room full of papers, and she starts finding all of these drawings that it looks like David drew over the years. And he finds one of Shaw. In the meantime, soon to be gay military dude finds the basement with all the eggs. And I guess, it just... it didn't need any prompting. It just came out on its own. So I don't know what the time frame is between Orm dying and them finding this room.
Did we speak about how Orm just stuck his head in the alien? Like,
well, David said, no,
stupid.
take a look, and he's like, oh, that looks perfectly fine. This thing that's swimming around in this white. Oh shit!
Stupid. It really annoyed me when he did that.
This facehugger gets on the surviving gay, and they try to cut it off, and this is where the acid blood comes in because we haven't seen it at all. And the xenomorph that came out of Orm is now fully formed, and is just watching them and kind of goes in for the attack, right? And Beagleface is here, and David shows up, and she tries to shoot him, but he slaps the gun out of her hand. And then there's like a little thing like I can't remember what he says. It like I understand why Walter likes you or something like that. Like what Walter sees in you, and then he tries to kiss her to get a response. Again, horny android robot, and then Walter comes in and throws him off of her, and he tells her to run. And in the meantime, for some reason, they engage in hand-to-hand combat.
He likes some androgynous.
I didn't understand this because
This is their mating ritual.
They can't die or anything though.
They're flirting.
And they don't feel pain. So what's the point of them?
Well, no, you can disable them.
Also, there's that scene that they don't show what happened at the end of their fight, and it's like it's so clear what
So
they're going to do in
obvious.
the
Yes.
end of this movie. That's the thing, is that all the twists, you can see them coming from miles away. There's
Yep.
no surprise in this movie. It's just kind of everybody's going through the motions, in my opinion.
Yeah, the only real surprise was that they made this movie.
Yeah, that's the only
Like,
surprise.
the only surprise that they have in this movie is like you're putting a flute in his mouth and you're gonna finger it for him, but then the rest of the plot points were all just like, okay,
Yeah.
Yep.
The
So,
other surprise was Danny McBride in the movie. I thought that was a very random.
Yes.
Like I said, it was just random seeing him here. I will say I don't think that he did anything bad, but it's just I just thought
he
it was
did
strange.
something bad. He took an entire ship of 20,000 people into
No,
a storm.
his
for his
character
starting
maybe.
life.
I'm
Yeah.
saying that his acting, he actually did more serious acting. He didn't act like Kenny Powers.
Oh, I got you. Like he showed some range. You mean?
Like
Yeah, well, it's like-
usually when you bring Danny McBride, he acts kind of like Kenny Powers. That's his thing. And I'm saying that here they brought him and he just acted regular. It's almost like they didn't need him.
Yeah, I think your biggest problem again is that I mean he may have been this may have been his opportunity, or he thought it was to do
Right.
something serious, and unfortunately
More
he got this
serious,
script.
Yeah.
Of course,
So,
then of course they allowed him to write the Halloween trilogy not long after.
So the
I mean,
the
sorry.
Beagle. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, he mentioned Halloween. The first movie was passable. The second one was all right, but I don't know. That third one was already going off a cliff.
Evil dies tonight, baby.
All right, go on, Vex. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Please don't apologize. So, Beagleface and the gay dude, they survive. Tennessee comes in with one of like the retrofitted like construction machines or whatever, right? Cranes or something like that. And Tennessee can't drive for shit, even though his wife was like an ace pilot, which is weird.
No. So they make it clear that what they're doing is they ask him to bring down like essentially the elevator. This thing is supposed to just haul, goods and stuff down there, to go back and forth between the mothership and the ground, because they don't have another drop ship. They blew it up because they left stupid people in charge.
His dumb wife, yeah.
Right. So he comes down and he lands, but he says because he can't hard land where they're at, so he's kind of hovering. They get on, and then she realizes, oh, the alien is on, and she says, unhook the crane, and he's like, that'll overbalance us.
Unbalance us.
Yeah, and she's like, well, do it. Okay. And yep, sure enough. Now, there is some retardation where he's trying to fly away and scrapes against things, except this thing has thrusters. It should just go straight the hell up and be clear of everything.
Yeah, that's
it
what I
is
mean.
not aerodynamic.
He can't drive for shit, man. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, she's somehow like this alien can't get her at all, even though we saw like again a 1 pound little baby alien stab a chick to death earlier in this film. But she manages to capture it in the jaws of the crane, and she shoots it again. This one isn't bulletproof apparently, but the other ones were bulletproof.
No, she crushes it with the jaws. And,
no, but
and
she goes in with like the gun afterwards, right? Like as it gets like stuck in there, and then it kind of like
no, she shoots it and it doesn't work. That's when she goes and hits the claws, and it crushes it.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
See?
There we go. Wait, she gets acid on her.
Oh no, it's convenient acid. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, this fucking movie makes me want to
yeah,
hurt
so
myself.
Tennessee again, he's trying to fly them back up. In the meanwhile, gay military dude is getting healed up by gay robot. A bunch of shouting. Again, now she's still standing out here, just staring, even though I don't understand why or how, because it just showed us Tennessee is struggling to level this vehicle, but whatever.
Well, also it's like usually when you're looking out off of, like that kind of look usually is like somebody is leaving something behind that they had hoped would succeed or something. It's like she was against this the whole time. She's not leaving behind anyone she particularly cares about. Mm-hmm. What is the significance of that look?
She's a woman, bro. You don't question.
She's basking in the fact that she is now in charge.
Yes, yeah. So
saying I could fix them.
They heal up gay military dude. David gets healed up because Walter. Whoops! Spoiler alert.
Oh my God!
Walter heals himself up from his fight with David, and there's this nice little interaction here between them, which I don't really recall because it meant absolutely nothing.
And it blows my mind that they are so quick to trust somebody who looks just like it's like they have to know to some degree what these androids are capable of, and they just trust. Oh, this is Walter.
Yeah, she looks and she's Walter. Like, oh, he has a stump. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yep. Again, his 5 o'clock shadow is gone too, which is kind of sus. We don't ever see him shave. Just saying.
That's true.
So creepy Walter David is just watching people sleep essentially, and yeah.
Here comes my favorite part of the movie.
Suddenly, shit goes haywire. I think did we skip over a scene? There we go. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, like this random shower sex scene at the end of the movie after all this horrible stuff. I'm like, Ridley, what are you doing?
And They're
Nothing
playing-
releases
Is that
stress like a
Juicy-
good
is that
orgasm.
Juicy Smollier in the shower?
It is,
Yeah.
It is.
I
He
thought
wasn't
he
watching
didn't
out
like
for
women.
those.
With a
I thought he didn't
woman.
like women.
He wasn't watching out for those red hats. That's what happened.
There were literally 2 gay roles, and he took a straight one. Appropriator.
That's all right.
So
He gets
as-
penetrated in this one.
It's
As
almost
they're
like you could
getting
call him a liar, huh?
as they're getting it on in the shower, the xenomorph decides to be cheeky, I guess, and wants to kind of penetrate this woman in a different
Well,
way.
he knows that
than-
Juicy isn't going to.
No.
My germs.
And yeah, then Mother is just like undetected life form on the ship, right? Now this wasn't like this is. Hold on, I think it's here. Maybe. Is
Yeah,
it
they look
here?
in the
No.
med bay. No, it's it's before this.
Okay.
They
But
run to
look-
like the med bay and they realize there's dead people.
Yeah. So apparently this second, because I was confused by this
Yeah.
as well.
Where the
on
hell did
podcast.
second Xeno come from?
Yeah, it comes from the gay military dude. So apparently that like face hugger was a bit premature in his egg ejaculation and managed to get one.
Yeah, I
instead.
wondered about that. But again, I mean, it's like so he died. They died very quickly in med bay, and then suddenly we have full grown Xenomorph. Okay,
Yep. Yep.
it must be like David's hair.
Timelines just don't make sense here, right? So basically what they decide to do is they're going to kind of corner the creature off. And
Oh,
so
wait,
she's
real quick. It is also funny that Mother did not detect the unknown life form until it had fully grown.
Until it was a grown ass man.
That's
That
just the
should
way
have been
technology
immediate.
Works, I guess.
Mother doesn't like children, despite her
Mother's
name.
lazy.
Well, he wasn't paying rent, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, they decide to so they're gonna lead this xenomorph to the cargo bay or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
with the equipment.
Yeah, again, aliens callback kind of deal, right? And you got all the props in the background here. I'm trying to remember what happens here.
They had demonstrated when they first after like they repair the solar sail or whatever the hell, the energy sail. They go and check their load and they realize that like one of those is started to come loose, so they have to
Yes,
cinch
it was
up
the one with the wood. Yeah,
right. And so she senses that back up or whatever. So then she's like, yeah, I'm gonna lead it to my favorite place. And so they lead it here, and they are going to loosen one of these big earth movers and toss it out the airlock. But unfortunately, a bit of a tangling happens.
I just want to. Nothing really happens here. Like the ship, the thing goes out. She almost goes out with it, with the xenomorph. Unfortunately, she lives, and poor David is just like, oh, well, that was interesting, sort of deal. Finally, now, just like, oh, they're on track to go back to Origai 6, which is still several years away. So they're preparing for their hypersleep again, regardless of everything. And she's all like, oh,
You gonna help me build the cabin?
yeah, like help me build a cabin. And he's just like, what? He just that fraction of a
Yeah.
movement, and she realizes, oh, it's not Walter, it's David. And
What's funny is they give away that he's David before this, and
They do.
I mean, granted, it's obvious anyway. But even as far as if you're trying to hide it, when that alien first starts like kind of wreaking havoc on the ship, he smirks while he's watching
Yeah.
it. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, well, he's David then. It's like that's a
it's-
dead
well,
giveaway.
it's even before that. So when they leave the engineer temple or whatever, right? So Daniels and the gay military dude are put down by the beacon. They have the guy that comes out look back into the temple, and we haven't seen. That's not something an aware robot would do. You know what I mean? Walter would not do that at all. David would, because he's leaving behind his creations, his lab, all of that stuff. He's developed that weird emotional connection to things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's the giveaway. That's the first giveaway
Yep.
that it's David.
That smirk is where I got it. I was like, oh wow, you're not even being subtle at all.
No, it's when
We're about
he
to-
turns back before he takes off at a dead run to.
Yeah.
You're about to get to my favorite part of the movie, where I screamed in the theater. I'm not lying. I literally screamed in anger.
So he's talking to Mother. He's like, Mother, play Richard Wagner's Entry of the God, right? Because that wasn't foreshadowing at the beginning. And he opens up one of the pods with all of the embryos, and he starts,
He demonstrates he's doing a magic trick. Look at me. Ha ha.
yes.
How many eggs do I have in my mouth?
Yep.
Oh God, I hated this part. I started screaming. I'm like, what are we doing? What is this role? What can he do? He's birthing fucking xenomorphs. I know that he got those from the place, but Jesus, what are we doing here, man?
He is their origin story.
He is the engineer.
Isn't that grand, everyone? The origin story
All
of
the aliens that you know
Yep.
came out of David's fucking intestines.
Yep.
What the fuck?
So you can say that David actually regurgitated Alien, and there we go. From then on, we're all good.
Yep. And that's it. That is. Oh, and he sends a transmission out, right? And he's just like, all the crew have perished, unfortunately. We're on track to go to Origai 6. And that's
No, I think he says that there's still 2 human crew.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They're the only 2 crew left.
Right,
the
right.
rest perished in like a solar flare incident.
Yeah.
Doesn't say. Yeah. And that's Alien Covenant. Gord, do you have the trivia for us this week?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I forgot that I was in charge.
Okay, Gord. You know what? I'll help you out here a little bit. Okay.
I'm not. It completely went out of my. I forgot all about it.
I mean, that was probably like a mental protection on your part.
You just said it. I was like, oh.
The silence in between was great.
All right. So Alien Covenant came out on May 19th, 2017. It had a budget of about $97 million. Domestically, it actually didn't do very well, but internationally, it made most of its income. So the total take home was almost $241 million.
Jeez.
But what was the budget? It seems like it didn't make enough money.
97 million. So it didn't.
Yeah, I guess it's okay.
I'm just amused that it made its money internationally, even though this is clearly Ridley trying to dumb it down for the American audience, and the Americans are like, "This is shit. Get the hell out of here."
So it debuted at number 1. Number 2 was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and it came out the same day as Everything, which is like a teen romance film and one of the Diary of the Wimpy Kid movies. And then it dropped to number 4 the following week with the release of Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Oh God!
What were the other ones ahead of it? Guardians of the Galaxy.
Baywatch was at number 2, then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 at 3, then Alien Covenant.
Yep, this thing sunk like a turd.
Yeah.
What was the budget for Prometheus?
Oh, let's take a look.
It seems to me that was higher.
I think it was
130.
almost. Pardon?
130. It's 130.
Dang.
So this thing, yeah, they were like, no, Ridley. After Prometheus, you ain't getting as much money.
Same thing, by the way. Prometheus made most of its budget or box office back internationally.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but that's probably why they dumped Naomi Rapace or whatever her name is, because I think that it probably would have cost money to hire another. Maybe she would have charged a lot of money. So instead, they have Michael Fassbender, who costs them money, but he does 2 roles.
Yeah, but they also had Richard DeFranco, who does like a video log and then burns to death.
Yeah.
I feel like Franco, it was more of a courtesy. There's no way they paid him more than like 10 grand, if anything, just to do that. So that's a wash. I'm trying to think what other actors they would have had to pay. Maybe they brought somebody like Danny McBride because that guy wants to suddenly be in a more serious role, so he's willing to take a pay cut.
Well,
Maybe.
if anything, Billy Crudup would have been he's the biggest name in the movie.
Yes, he's the biggest name in the movie. But even he, for a while, I think we didn't see him in a lot of movies. He was sort of a hot name, and then we kind of didn't see him for a while. I tend to think that he did a lot of economical casting here, aside from Fassbender.
Gotcha.
Just my theory. I have no way to prove it. It's like it's like source. Trust me, bro.
Gord, do you want me to do the trivia or?
As far as I have literally nothing. I can read off of the IMDb page.
That's what I have. That's what I have open.
Can you two do it synchronously?
Synchronously.
Think like two little pigs.
Yeah, like a
It
duet. Yeah.
I assume Vex doesn't read like every single piece of it.
Like the law firm of Fassbender and Fassbender.
There's like dozens of different trivia pieces. But let's see. That's the other thing. I'm having to try to see which ones are even interesting.
None of them.
Yeah, this movie sucks, and Ridley is probably too pretentious to realize that that's the trivia. It says he was planning to shoot the film in 3D like his past couple of blockbusters, but stuck to 2D due to the fading interest in the format. If he only had known that about his franchise.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The Neomorphs, that's what it's called. This one's called the Neomorph. The Neomorph's physiology and body structure was inspired by the real-world bodily autonomy of the goblin shark. Its teeth are able to come forward when attacking prey to do more damage by pointing directly out, allowing for a better grip.
The original treatment for this movie, as revealed by Ridley Scott in 2012 when the film was still in development, was to be a more faithful sequel to Prometheus. Titled Paradise Lost, that's not on the nose. It would have drifted even further from the alien mythology and focused almost exclusively on the backstory of the engineers, the origins of humanity, and how the engineers created humans and xenomorphs. The prequels would then conclude with a film that ties itself into the original Alien movie and its sequels. Scott felt that the Alien franchise had lost its touch and that fans had grown tired of the overexposed original xenomorph creature, and as such he wanted to try a different approach. However, due to the divided fan reactions to Prometheus, he later admitted that he had been completely wrong about the fans' feelings about the creature, since one of the major criticisms had been the lack of xenomorphs. So he partially abandoned the new direction and reintroduced the alien mythos sooner than planned.
Is on the trivia, is there the rumored third one that he was going to make?
I don't think that's a rumor. I think
he's wanted to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was, I think he said when he was on the promotion block for Prometheus, that this was going to be a new trilogy of Alien films.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank God that didn't happen.
It still might. Hold on. Because he's making an Alien film right now.
Excuse me?
Yeah, it got announced a couple weeks ago that he's working on another Alien film, and it's not a Romulus sequel.
It's going to be Alien Beowulf.
Ridley Scott stated the subtext of this whole story is the evolution of an AI who eventually will demonstrate his superiority to the human intellect. He says, adding that what follows is the AI creating a life, at which point we're really in trouble. It's like,
goodness gracious.
If an AI ever makes a movie as bad as this, I won't have anything to worry about.
Then we're really in trouble.
Yeah, you have to worry about the AI that lies about its competence more than anything else.
I'm trying to find. I'm looking through this as well, Gord, trying to find the.
This is okay. Here's Ridley Scott made Prometheus to answer the question: who would make such a biomechanoid hideous thing, and for what reason? It's like, well,
evolution, bitch. Let's move on.
It's like we didn't need the question of how the part of what was great about the xenomorphs is we didn't know.
Yeah, it's a cosmic horror.
Yeah,
that the idea that that things are alien, that we are reaching out and the universe is filled with things terrible and unimagined, and we are just a speed bump at best if they decide to turn their gaze to us. And instead, we've just turned it into stupidity because Ridley's he's getting old. He's worried about going to hell. Maybe it's because his brother died. Whatever. I'm going to have my derp thoughts that normal people have by the age of 10.
This is very telling. The second part of that is that film was always meant as a first step towards answering that question, with Covenant continuing the tale. This is why this film opens with a prologue showing David and Peter Whalen in their early days explaining the motivations to come. See, that's your problem, Ridley. You think this stuff requires explaining. You want to over-explain your own mythos, and that's never a good idea. That is always a bad idea. You're not Tolkien, who thought all this stuff out and created a whole world. That he's a unique beast. Y'all need to stop trying to be him.
Well, I want to make clear, Ridley did not write Alien. Yeah. Fuck off, Ridley. For the same reason that you've been retconning Blade Runner for the last 20, 30 years, you didn't write that either. The writers continually said Ridley's full of shit about any kind of retcon he does. This is a guy that I directed, so I'm the genius, I'm the auteur. It was like, what have you written, Ridley?
I got one here. The hairstyle that Daniel sports in the film was based on the wig worn by Ezra Miller, her co-star in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It was Miller. It was Miller during a break at filming Beasts, who helped film Waterston's audition video. While filming inside his trailer, she noticed the wig that he wore for his character and asked him if she could try it on, and she thought it was cool.
Wow, you're so corny.
Speaking of corny, it's funny you say that. Earlier drafts of the script had the incoming transmission be a prayer, but the filmmakers felt that was too corny, so they changed it to a John Denver song. Because that's not corny at all.
Hello, fellow kids. You like John Denver too, right?
It's like, no, a prayer would be something that people are like, yeah, that makes sense. And, given that she was a person of faith, that actually makes total sense.
And that your opening scene is talking about creationism.
Oh
and that one of your characters that you have as a complete idiot is a religious person.
A person of faith. It's like, you could almost say that you had the potential for a running theme here. Nah, John Denver.
John Denver. The prayer's too corny. John Denver. Yeah, that works.
Oh my gosh. And I like that song, don't get me wrong or anything, but it's just like...
Well, Smilex is convinced it's our national anthem. He sings it at the end of B-sides on a regular basis when we...
Actually, it's funny. They sing... Whenever they have NFL games in Germany, the German crowd sings it, like, during halftime. And I'm like, why do they do that? I mean, it's cool, but why? I think they think it, too.
It's because Smilex goes there for Oktoberfest. He's convinced the entire country that that's actually our national anthem.
I'm not seeing anything really. There's not a lot of interesting trivia for this movie.
Hell no, there's not.
You don't say.
This movie's gay and uninteresting.
Yeah, and the interesting. So I tried to look at the writers / screenplay people or whatever. The screenplay people are essentially the crew that always run with Ridley, but the writers, the two credited writers. They do have some decent accomplishments and writing underneath, under their belt. So I'm thinking that this really is one of Ridley's, creations. I want it like this and I want it like that, and somebody writes it and then they do screenplay and all that stuff. But he's the driver behind it, which is why it's so retarded.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to bring up the second allusion to Blade Runner in the movie. Mm-hmm. So when David is behind, goes to grab what's her face, Beagleface, whatever.
Beagleface, yeah.
Lex, I think is her name.
Whenever he goes to grab her while they're still in his, where he's at, and she fights him off, and then he throws her. His line is, "That's the spirit." That is literally.
It's when she stabs him with the nail.
Yeah, she stabs him with the nail. He says, "That's the spirit."
That's the spirit.
Yeah, that's from Blade Runner when Rutger Hauer and
Harrison
Ford are they're fighting, and he starts fighting back, and Rutger Hauer's like, "That's the spirit."
Yeah, he hits him with a lead pipe.
It's an android fighting a human. It's like, wow, you're being self-referential here.
Yep.
Real quick, we have 2 super chats from Waylon Bacefus. So first one for $1.99. Price, could you read this, please?
Sure, hold on. So
he's splicing some xenomorph DNA. Just give him a second.
For an atheist, Scott is obsessed with creation.
Yep. And for another $1.99, Kata, could you read this one?
Yes. Can Ridley go back to making movies about knights? Well, he did something similar not too long ago.
Honestly, I'd rather he didn't, because The Last Night is only good until you get to the last third, where he starts telling you this is what actually happened, and then if you actually look up the history of that story, that ain't what happened. So it's like literally lying to you. I'm not somebody who is too strict on historical accuracy because it's a movie, but when a movie tells you that something is history and it isn't, that's when I start to have an issue with it.
Yeah, Kingdom of Heaven is another one like that.
Is that the Adam Driver movie?
Yeah. And it's the first two-thirds of it, like, it's an interesting movie. It's kind of told in the Rashomon style, where you're getting different people's perspectives on the same story. It's just the last third, they literally are telling you right before it, this is like what actually happened. And it's a highly feminist version of it. And afterwards I was like, I'm curious if that is what actually happened. There's no evidence.
Like Me Too, but in medieval times or something.
Yep.
I knew that from the commercial. I'm like, a Me Too movie in medieval times. I'm never going to see that movie, and I never saw it.
Real quick, Waylon, for your 2 super chats, here's a clip.
Okay.
Perfectly in tone with this movie.
Okay, I guess since we don't have any other trivia, I guess we'll go around the horn. And if you could please give a rating for this film. So, Kate, I'll start off with you. Final thoughts on the film and a rating.
Yes, it's dog shit. 2 out of 10.
You don't want to expand anymore? That's it?
There's nothing to expand on. It sucks. I hate this movie with every fiber of my being. 2 out of 10. And I'm only giving it a 2 because Michael Fassbender is doing everything he can.
That's true. I think he's a very talented actor. Just keeps getting... He's a shitty agent. There we go. Yeah. Goodwin.
Oh, shit. Bush, you know me so well on this. This is a stunning piece of shit, but it is not as bad as Prometheus. Prometheus is the pinnacle of terrible, annoying, hateful movies, and this is merely its retarded child that it had, and the stupidity starts right from the beginning, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to watch stupid people do things. Okay, I'm with Kata. I mean, Fassbender is definitely the only thing that's interesting about this in any way. There's some good set design at times, but even that, I mean, Prometheus is better looking. It's just more aggravating because you know that talented people, their work was wasted on Prometheus. I don't think there was a talented motherfucker in this thing other than Fassbender, and so it's just less offensive to humanity overall, and I'd give it, I guess, like a 1.5 out of 10.
Dang. Price of Reason.
You know, it's not a good movie, but not everything looks bad or is bad about it. It's just that I don't like the writing here, and it just feels like an unnecessary movie that's doubling down on crap. For me, anything below a 60 is usually considered a fail. I would give it maybe like a 40. I mean, it's not gonna get a passing grade from me, but I would give it a few points. It's not the most incompetent production. It's just that it's not very well written. That's really the truth.
No. I mean, so they screw up on visual effects.
I didn't give it 100.
No, I'm saying, but I'm assuming that the 60 got up and left. The 60% that is not getting is because writing and all of that other shit or whatever. Name the redeeming quality of this movie that gives it a 40%.
Michael Fassbender himself, I would give him maybe like 20 of those points, if not more. Like, I feel like 25 points I would probably give him for trying, and then I don't know. I like Danny McBride. He tried his best. That's like another 5 points. And then
it doesn't equal 40.
So that's like
Yeah,
30.
your checkbook is out of balance, sir. I'm just saying.
So 25 Michael Fassbender, 5 for Danny McBride, and 10. You know, even when you go to an exam and you write your name, you get a few points. You know,
Not when it's Ridley Scott and Alien. No, you don't.
Oh, please.
You get demerits, sir.
I don't know. I'm willing to give them a 40. I'm generous. I don't know. I guess I remember that Ridley Scott did a few good things in his career. I'll give him a few points, even if he doesn't deserve them. So 40 out of 100.
40. Yeah. Okay. All right. Whitey.
I was originally gonna give him a 4 for this, just because but the more that we got into it, I just hate it even more. I'm glad I'm glad that I pulled a total liar face on this one, guys. I watched about an hour of this movie and then I went and killed a chicken. And got it ready for dinner 2 nights from now. So I really just couldn't. I love y'all, but I couldn't be bothered with this. This was terrible to me, and to see a franchise like this, it hurts. This was actually worse than Prometheus to me. It just hurts to see where it is, and this isn't an alien movie. This is a robot movie. It got turned down to a 3. So if I had already made the animation, I would bring it down to a 2, because Danny McBride being in this movie, you might as well just have everybody replaced with Will Ferrell. I don't care about this movie, and I will never recommend or watch it again.
Dang. Gord.
I'll echo similar sentiments to Goodwin. I think it has some good set design. I think there's some attractive cinematography. I think the ship looks cool until you start thinking about the function of it. But the movie, really from the outset, the dialogue's terrible, the characters are retarded. The CGI on the xenomorphs, or whatever the other ones are called, the neomorphs, all look just utterly awful. The plot is more bland. Like Prometheus at least is trying a complex plot. It just executes it horribly. This one has a much less interesting plot and doesn't even do that right. There are, I guess, some moments with David that are interesting, but I can only give Fassbender kind of half credit, because I think his performance as Walter's kind of bad. I think his accent.
No, it is bad.
It's really stupid. And so even that I can only give a little bit of credit. It's, I sort of agree about Danny McBride. I think he does a decent job with his role, even though it's not a good role. I think most of the other actors do kind of a poor job. I think the one girl who's on the ship with Juicy and McBride actually gives a genuinely awful performance. Like every time she talks, I'm like, her line delivery is just appalling.
She couldn't even do nudity well, for God's sakes.
Yeah, there's so much wrong with this. I would probably agree that objectively it's not as bad of a movie as Prometheus, but at the same time, if I had to choose between them, which one I would watch, I would probably choose Prometheus. But
I actually think this is worse than Prometheus. Prometheus was bad, but this is somehow trying to it's a bad foundation that then they wanted to add a second floor to a home that already had a bad foundation.
I'm basically to me, it's I'm pretty much scoring them more or less the same. I gave that one, I think, a 2.5. I'm giving this one a 2.5 out of 10. It's garbage. I don't think I'll ever watch this again unless I can make a video of it.
Gotcha. I am going to give this 1.5 hot, insane robots out of 10. It's just Prometheus was already pretty terrible. But I will give these 2 movies credit in which they do look quite nice. The technical aspects are pretty sound. Aside from the CGI and special effects is pretty awful, especially given the budget they're working on. Performances are generally terrible. These characters are terrible. Everyone is fucking stupid for no other reason than just for XYZ things to happen. For a movie that was supposed to be about the engineers, I'm quite shocked at how little there is about the engineers in it. Michael Fassbender as a hot robot is really the only redeeming factor. You can judge me all you want for that. I don't care. Yeah, you know what? Even then, these are really crappy films that I kind of enjoy in a crappy watch way, just because it is kind of funny. That's all. Yeah, I give this 16 fully erect Michael Fassbenders out of 100. It's not The Wires this time, not The Wires. Thank you guys for coming out to review this shitty movie that I made all of you watch. This is truly the best birthday present I could have asked for. Just before we call
I wish ill on all of your days.
Yeah.
Let's just we'll go around once more and just shout out where people can find you and if you've got any upcoming streams or videos. We'll start with you, Kata.
Yes, I actually have a stream I'm about to start after this, where it's the new Black Street at night, or Nightmare on Black Street, where the dumbasses wanted it to be called, so that's what it's called. And so that's what we're going to be doing tonight here in about 30-ish minutes. We're going to be live for like going to be live for like an hour or so, maybe two. Just chopping it off, things that's happened over the weekend. And then and then other than that, just go to my channel where I upload sporadically, and then follow the Twitter where I'm always making somebody mad. And then don't watch this movie. Instead of watching this movie, watch your eyelids.
Thanks, Kate. I appreciate you coming on. Go check out his channel. Everything will be in the description after the upload. I just gotta figure that out now that Cannoli's out of commission. I'm not looking at the screen. I should probably be doing that. Goodwin, where can we find you?
I'll be on Gooch's tomorrow. We'll be covering first episode of Primal Season 2. An actual good thing, a respite from the sludge that I've had to slog through of late. Thursday we'll be doing Arcane, speaking of sludge, on Gooch's channel. Friday I'll be on Adam Gray's doing the normal B-sides where Adam tortures me with terrible movies. Although he has never really maybe Bamboo Saucer was as bad as the Prometheus and Covenant that Vex has tormented me with. Saturday, Niet, on the we're doing Predators.
Yes, and I'm really upset I'm missing that. Upset I'm missing that.
So that's an adequate movie I get to see. Then we'll be back in the grind. Who knows?
Nice. Thank you for being here. Always appreciate your commentary. Price of Reason. What you got coming up, buddy?
Tuesdays and Thursday, there's the Night Owl on my experimental live channel. And then I have my regular Price of Reason YouTube channel. And that's it.
Are you sure there's not anything else? You just
do you want to shout out a Cannoli stream maybe?
Yeah.
We know as a famous endorser of Cannoli streams. So. Oh.
Well, Cannoli is sick. I don't want to speak ill of him or anything. But,
he's doing a thing somewhere. I'm on it. Okay, here we go.
Seriously, Cannoli is a swell guy. And you guys should pay attention to his streams.
Thank you, Bryce. That's a beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
He does good
Great
streams.
job.
Good streams.
Yeah. No prostate problems for Cannoli. He's got some strong streams.
Oh, Whitey, what you got coming up, buddy?
Let's see. I'll be working on. I'll actually be doing some new streams this week on the Twitters. Showing people how to do pixel art and stuff like that, and how to do some of the videos I've been putting out lately. I got last two videos were the Mega Man video and also Nakatomi Plaza here. So check those out if you like some relaxing, soothing music over on Bear Clan. The channel is on my pinned to my shit on Twitter. So just go check that out. It'll be the first thing you see. So yeah, check that out.
Hey,
Subscribe
White Bear,
and
do you
share
do
it.
for your pixel art? Do you do color cycling to fake animation and stuff?
No, I just do just full animations. Yeah.
No, I mean just so you're doing pixel art, but I mean, are you old enough to remember when we used color cycling and pixel art to make things be animated and stuff?
I don't know. I don't know the phrasing for it. If you could give me.
So
like,
you basically what you do is you have let's say you have a 8-bit palette, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you are able to cycle through palette swapping. So you have if your color 0 is red or white, let's say, and you make a waterfall and you use color 0, then if you cycle it and turn it blue, then you can actually make it like look animated, and the rest of the stuff it stays the same.
I don't say it to be rude, but fortunately we have a little bit of things to kind of take care of that for you now. It's just more like you just take the animation, move it down, replace it, move it down, replace it, and all that. So yeah, for like a waterfall effect and all that.
Yeah, it was just a more efficient way to do it because you didn't have to remap the image, right? All you had to do was swap palette, and it.
So this right here, like see these waterfalls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just basically it's not too hard thing, thankfully, and all that, but you know.
Yeah, check out a Jim Fuchs, Fuchs.
Oh well, Fuse. Thanks.
Or Sachs, SACHS.
Are you gonna sack me or are you fuking me? What?
I mean, one and then the other. Dealer's choice on what goes first.
Well, after this movie, I'll take it. Thank you.
All right, and Gord, what you got coming up?
I've almost wrapped up my first draft of my Twilight script, so I'll be probably touching that up tomorrow, and then maybe start editing either then or start editing by Wednesday. So depending on how long it takes, it could be out next Wednesday or the week after.
Nice.
And then I have gaming streams and all that during the week too.
Gord, you're doing Twilight fanfic now? Man, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
You'll love it, I promise.
Hell no.
You will. Twilight Covenant.
Oh, I'm in now. Let's go.
Oh, that's where the engineers really came from. They were sparkling vampires.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. As for myself, every Sunday on my channel, early morning Vexhibitionism, 10 a.m. Eastern time. This Sundays will be on Craven because I'm going to be going to see that Friday. That will be my first visit to the theater in over a month, so that'll be exciting. Other than that, tomorrow I will also be on Gooch's stream for Primal, and I will have another video dropping between the 21st to the 23rd, right before Christmas. I'm switching to a monthly release schedule because I care more about quality than frequency now. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Thank you to the panel for spending your evening watching this magnificently shitty film.
You're not welcome.
Links for everyone will be in the description. Oh, thank you, John A. Douglas. I appreciate you, bud. Links for everyone will be in the description probably tomorrow once I figure that out because Cannoli's not really accessing his YouTube. But we'll be back next week, same time, same place, for the second half of the extended edition of Lord of the Rings Return of the King, which is like a 4-hour movie, if I'm not mistaken.
I love I wasn't on that one.
I don't want to watch a 4-hour movie, but
we only got to watch the second half of it. So
I want to. I forgot to watch the first half for last week.
Oh, that's right.
I need to watch the whole thing. Yeah.
You're behind.
Wait a minute. Vex, you haven't watched the Return to King extended editions before?
Oh no! It's just we did the first half last week, but I forgot to watch the first half for last week's stream.
Oh.
So now
to brush up.
Yeah, so now I have, because I like to watch the film before we review them, so it's more fresh in my mind. But I forgot to, so now I have to watch the whole thing because I have to run the channel since Cannoli is absent. So I need to know where you're at. But yeah, Thanks again, everyone. Peeps, stay warm, stay frosty. Don't get into your feels about things. Stay happy. Don't be gay. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
I forgot
Bye.
to click the outro.